not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show live on Monday. May the 5th be with you. Happy Cinco de Mayo. That doesn't even register with me. It's Cinco de Mayo.
No idea.
At all.
I'm still going to have tacos tonight. It had nothing to do with Cinco de Mayo.
I had tacos last night and tomorrow night, too. As always, the Monty Show is presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Did you get in an accident this weekend? Traffic accident? Did you get hurt riding your bike? Did you get hurt at work? Get some clear, risk-free advice right now, today. Theadvocates.com. They understand. They know because they've seen it all. They've been through it all. Let them fight your insurance companies. Hand them the process of getting what you deserve. You've paid all those premiums. You have paid all of that money to your insurance company. Now it's time for the insurance company to make it right. But they're not going to do that. No, because the insurance company is not out to make sure that you get what you deserve. They're out for their shareholders. The advocates will fight for you. Best part is you never reach into your pocket to pay the advocates. You don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. Again, get clear, risk-free advice 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Happy Monday. What an incredible day of breaking news. If you're just tuning in, big news out of the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens, moments ago as we were coming on air today, released kicker Justin Tucker, who you remember had washcloth allegations against him. Isn't that what we call it these days in the NFL?
Yeah.
Justin Tucker had sexual misconduct allegations levied against him on multiple fronts, like by an enormity of women in the massage business who you remember didn't feel comfortable around him, felt like he was acting inappropriately, showed up wearing his Ravens jersey, talked about who he was. It was uncomfortable. Well, the Ravens drafted a kicker. Today, the Baltimore Ravens released Justin Tucker. And we were both surprised that they said, hey, this is 100% a football decision. Do you buy that?
No, I don't buy it for a second. I think they're hiding behind the guise of it being a football decision. I think they're, they don't want to have anything to do with washcloth allegations or the media or any of that. And they're smart. They're getting out ahead of this. They have a playoff team. They're a really good team. And frankly, he was pretty mediocre last year. And so this would be the time to move along. And they drafted a kicker. And, so they've gone full in on, hey, it was a football decision. But my opinion is that this has nothing to do with football. This has everything to do with, we don't want to deal with this media disaster that's waiting to happen. And frankly, it's not like Justin Tucker's 20 years old anymore,
No, and here's a statement from Executive Vice President, General Manager of the Ravens, Eric DaCosta, who said, sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult. And this is one of those instances. Considering our roster, we have made the tough decision to release Justin Tucker. Justin created many significant and unforgettable moments in Ravens history. His reliability, focus, drive, resilience, extraordinary talent made him one of the league's best kickers for over a decade.
Yeah.
So, are you getting choked up over Justin Tucker's
man,
time
I'm
coming
really
to an
just,
end?
it's really rough, man. It's an emotional time, and
I think it is. I think it's a very big moment in time, right? Like, it'll be very interesting to see how Justin Tucker goes along. I mean, obviously, we haven't seen the end of these lawsuits. against Justin Tucker. We don't know, is his career over? I mean, I find it hard to believe that another franchise is going to give him an opportunity. I mean,
Yeah. I think it
I
remains to be
can't
seen.
believe that.
Yeah, I think it remains to be seen. I think you're probably not going to hear much out of the Justin Tucker camp for a while.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Boy, his numbers don't lie, though, do they? I mean, 89.1% field goal. I mean, that's amazing. But how do you just ignore firsthand testimony from 6 massage therapists accusing Tucker of inappropriate sexual behavior for a 4-year period from 2012 to 2016? I mean,
terrible.
Yeah, it's really difficult to ignore that. And I think Justin Tucker is going to have a tough time getting back.
Yeah.
I truly do. And then, of course, what we've been talking about for months and months now, a bombshell hits that Michigan is self-reporting and now reportedly imposing a 2-game suspension against head football coach Sherrone Moore related to his conduct surrounding the Connor Stallions sign stealing operation that we now know took place at Michigan. And it looks like Sherrone Moore knows that he is going to get a pretty significant penalty from the NCAA. And if you did not hear, Michigan and the NCAA have exchanged communications. Essentially, they have rounded out the process of putting Sherrone Moore and the University of Michigan in front of the Committee on Infractions, which is that final step to really bringing this sign stealing scandal to an end for college football and especially for everybody in Ann Arbor. And now we are getting the news today that Sherrone Moore is looking at a self-imposed 2-game suspension. And this isn't the cupcake free pass suspension that Jim Harbaugh got during his time as the head coach at Michigan 2 years ago. No, friends, this is legitimately you're out of Michigan football for 2 full weeks, which I think based on what Sherrone Moore is accused of doing, what he is admitted to doing, what his actions say he did, which is as soon as the allegations were made public against Connor Stallions, Sherrone Moore deleted a long string of communication via text message with Connor Stallions. And again, what do I always tell you is the worst part of any crime, the cover up for that crime. Sherrone Moore is going to face far more penalties for deleting those text messages and being evasive with the NCAA than he would have ever faced for the operation on its own. And now we know that Michigan has taken what I guess is really only a Michigan style tact here, which is suspending their own coach for violations in those programs without going before the Committee on Infractions, without ever having a final judgment from the NCAA. Michigan now, not once, but twice, is stepping up and suspending a head coach for infractions, and without even hesitation, admitting that those head coaches, whether it's Jim Harbaugh, because who could forget Jimmy Boy feeding hungry kids with cheeseburgers, whether it was him taking multiple game rips for that, and then for the sign stealing allegations. And how remarkable is it that not one, but 2 now Michigan football coaches are going to take a self-imposed suspension related to the sign stealing allegations. All this to say, Michigan has admitted that this operation took place. They did so when they fired Connor Stallions pretty much on the spot. They are now again admitting that there were illegalities around the sign stealing allegations. And what we know now is Michigan cheated their way to a national championship. It's awfully difficult to deny that, to spin that, to change that narrative. But let's make something very clear. They're the national champions of that season, and that's not going to change. But what now has changed is it seems like the tenor and the tone coming from Ann Arbor, trying to deny any wrongdoing. We had no idea. Well, apparently you did, because you deleted a bunch of text messages, and now you're taking a 2-game rip for this. Jake, I think there is very little way to spin this if you are Michigan. You're admitting that your program and 2 of your head coaches broke the rules and they did so flagrantly.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think that it's a massive injustice for college football. I think I don't really care about the national championship. I sleep well at night knowing they cheated their way to a national championship. I think the conversation's way bigger than that. I think that, college football has been a sport in our country that has had massive issues all over the place, whether it's this Michigan sign stealing thing, NIL, whatever you want to look at. And I think I'm just getting to a point where it's like, cool, you guys want to self-impose discipline? Neat. You're taking them out of the program for 2 weeks over one of the biggest scandals in college football. What does that say about Michigan? Right? Like we've been over this. We've been through it. We've covered it. And ultimately, again, I feel really good about the fact that we can say confidently that, yeah, you cheated your way to a national championship. Sherrone Moore knew exactly what he was doing. Jim Harbaugh is never going to face the discipline he should face. But, I feel like he was the chief architect of all of this. And we don't even know what the connection in the bigger picture is between the coaching staff and what Matt Weiss did. So I look at Michigan football and I say, you should be embarrassed. You're a disgrace to college football. Michigan football is a program that I don't care about what happened before Jim Harbaugh, because frankly, none of that matters now that Jim was here. None of that matters now that you tried to get him to sign a contract to be the highest paid head coach in college football, and he wouldn't do it unless you gave him full immunity, which you weren't capable of doing. You're just not allowed to do that. You're not able to do that. So I just sit here and I say, frankly, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is what you had coming to you. This is hardly surprising. This doesn't make it better. This doesn't fix anything. And it doesn't fix the fact that you frankly robbed people out of a career-defining win. Because that's the thing. I don't even care that you are the national champion. I care about the kids who lost that game because you had a sign stealing advantage. I care about the kids who were not playing on a level playing field in the regular season because you had their signals and signs and you obtained those in an illegal fashion. Like, that's the issue, dude. Like, you've affected so many people in a negative way, and Michigan fan doesn't seem to care about that. So again, I'm not really here for all the spin and all the, the inevitable comments we'll get from, Ferris and the Erics of the world and whoever the hell else wants to talk about it. I'm just here to say, like, you can lie to yourself and spin this, but the reality is you guys did this. Michigan did this, and there's no real getting away from it. And there is no way to feel better about it. And I do hope that the NCAA levies a heavy punishment against them. It should be one of the heaviest punishments we've ever seen in college football, in my opinion.
Yeah, and our sources telling us earlier this afternoon that it is expected Sherrone Moore will get an additional 2 games. It will be a 4-game suspension at a minimum. And I would continue to tell you, based on the things that we hear from our sources, who, again, every Michigan fan in the world can tell us that we don't know anybody and we don't have sources. What did we tell you? Sherrone Moore was going to take a significant suspension, and 2 games. What is Michigan doing by saying, hey, we're giving our football coach a 2-game suspension where he has to be away from campus?
Stealer guy.
Sherrone Moore will not be allowed to be involved with Michigan football in any form or fashion, in no communication, electronic or in person. Like, this is take him out of the program for 2 weeks. What is Michigan really doing there? They're trying to mitigate the end punishment from the Committee on Infractions in the NCAA. That's what they're trying to do.
This is a coach and a board.
I think they likely will achieve that with Sherrone Moore. I think if you put Sherrone Moore in a box, from what I understand, talking to sources, Sherrone Moore will be gone 4 games this year. I think it'll be 2 from Michigan. He's already, essentially, according to reports, he's already going to take a 2-game suspension. Won't be the Oklahoma game. Will the NCAA step in? I think, from what I understand, this punishment will be before the 4th of July. This punishment will be for the first 4 games of the season. I think the NCAA will take Sherrone Moore off the field for the first 4 games of the season and remove him from that football program for the first 4 games of the season. I also think that when it comes to Jim Harbaugh, I think you're exactly right. Jim Harbaugh himself personally he's out of reach of the NCAA. That doesn't mean Michigan's not going to feel the wrath, because what Michigan did and the way that Michigan handled that situation Not only with Jim Harbaugh being evasive about recruiting violations, level 1 recruiting violations, right? Not only that, not Cheeseburger Gate, not only the sign stealing operation, not only the Matt Weiss situation. If that was what you had done, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
If Sherrone Moore had not deleted those text messages and then been evasive about it, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If Jim Harbaugh had actually agreed to sit down with the Committee on Infractions and investigators from the NCAA, we would not be having this conversation. Problem is, it wasn't just Sherrone Moore and Jim Harbaugh. It was the worst athletic director in the entire country in Ward Manuel. It is the president of the University of Michigan who has facilitated under his watch cheating, lying, being evasive, allegedly sex crimes and certainly computer crimes based on charges against Matt Weiss. That's what Santaono has presided over, where you had an assistant football coach under Jim Harbaugh who had no idea. Jesus Christ, me?
Cheating,
what?
Lying, and then playing the victim.
Matt Weiss, who worked for my brother and now works for me, he was breaking into thousands of young people's accounts, stealing their nudes. All of that happened under Santaono. So he immediately fires Jim Harbaugh. Oh, wait, no, that he tried to make him the highest paid coach in the history of college football.
Google me.
Jim Harbaugh, they wanted him to be the highest paid coach. What was the only line apparently that Michigan wouldn't cross? Absolution from NCAA sanctions.
Oh.
Jim Harbaugh wanted guaranteed money, fully guaranteed money, no matter what the NCAA did. Well, why was that? Because Jim Harbaugh knows what he did. The NCAA knows what Jim Harbaugh did. The NCAA knows what Sherrone Moore did. The NCAA knows what the worst athletic director and one of the biggest scumbag, in my opinion, in Ward Manuel, they know what happened under his watch. They know what Santaono did not do, and then proposed to do. That's what you're going to get slapped for. You're not going to get slapped because Jim Harbaugh was just having a cheeseburger and a recruit and his dad happened to be in the restaurant. You're not getting slapped because Lone Wolf, which turned out to be an entire pile of dog shit worth of lies, because he was never a lone wolf.
That was a masterpiece of dog shit.
And Ferris, I hope you're here.
Oh, he won't be here.
Where are all the Michigan fans today?
Yeah, he won't be here.
Where's Ferris Khan today? No idea. Because he was never a lone wolf. Was Ward Manuel overseeing everything else at Michigan? Was amazing, right? The birds were chirping, the deers were humping in the bushes and making little deer babies and stuff. Nature,
yeah, boy.
Yeah, nature was taking place. Everything was, oh, that's right. Juwan Howard was a terrible basketball coach, and there were allegations of abuse, and your football program had some dude stealing thousands of nude photos from young people, some of them alleged to be, in your own building. And your football coach was having cheeseburgers for hungry kids and
stuff.
That scumbag Ward Manuel oversaw one of the most scandalous periods in the history of college athletics.
And then on top of that, chaired the college football playoff committee. How in the hell does that happen?
Under one of the worst selection processes ever. And on top of that, let's not forget how Santaono stood up there. We're going to fight. Ah!
That's the untrained eye.
And then had a judge who is a Michigan football alum who graduated Michigan law, ready to hear an injunction on Jim Harbaugh's suspension. We're going to fight. Ah! Right up until that judge was ready to hear the case, and then you pulled it and you gave a not so much of a suspension.
All right, bro. Have a nice day. Didn't mean nothing by it.
So wait, you mean you did absolutely nothing to discipline Jim Harbaugh, who, again, also scumbag, probably the biggest scumbag, even though he buys cheeseburgers for hungry kids.
You're a douche.
Yeah, you're a douche. But the point is, you're telling me that you're all, hey, Connor Stallions was the lone bad actor. Hey, I'm just curious. And I've asked this before. And again, I ask, where are the Michigan fans in the comment section?
Me?
So he was a lone wolf. Kyler Murray wannabe Blake Corum had his signature on an LLC to sell vacuums. Remember that?
Vacuums are my thing.
But vacuums aren't his thing. And I don't never sign no LLC.
What?
Because it's against NCAA rules to have a coach and a player in actual business together.
The ink isn't dry yet.
I'm just curious, how come there's no wire fraud, forgery charges, federal charges? Because falsifying a signature on an LLC is actually a federal felony.
People are misinterpreting what I'm saying.
So why hasn't Balake, little Billy Jimmy Corum
guy?
Why isn't Blake Corum? Why isn't the FBI? How come there's no federal charges against Connor Stallions?
Oh.
Well, I mean, it's a guess.
I mean, it's just you asking for a friend, right?
It's a guess.
That's nobody would ever commit that level of crime in Michigan football land. I mean, that's not, nobody would do that.
It's just a guess that maybe that signature is Blake Corum's. I could be wrong. And that LLC, which has since been dissolved. Funny how that works.
Gosh.
Funny how that works.
You have to check it before you wreck it.
All I'm telling you is, and I will continue to tell you this
again and again and again.
Michigan's biggest crime was not the crime itself, but the cover-up.
I'm going to say this again.
Jim Harbaugh, now Sherrone Moore. Why on earth is Santa Ono still employed? Anybody? Why is that scumbag athletic director still employed? Why have you allowed Jim Harbaugh and Sherrone Moore and that scumbag athletic director to destroy the legacy of a very, very fine institution? Is there simply that you don't care? Because that's what it feels like to me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care about your legacy. You don't care about your reputation.
No, you don't give a damn about anybody. You just want to win, and that's it. You don't care if you got to beg, borrow, steal, burn the whole village down, violate people in ways they should never be violated. You just will do anything.
I'm very curious to see how on earth do you come to a place where you have, and this is just my opinion, where you have all of this stuff, and yet you will still and repeatedly defend people like Santa Ono and Jim Harbaugh, who how many times have Michigan fans been in our comment section? He's a good man. He was feeding hungry kids. He would never do that. Well, he admitted.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
He admitted he did that. Well, no, he didn't. Well, he did take a suspension for what then? If Jim Harbaugh was just a good man trying to feed hungry kids, I'm just curious.
Just saying.
And I think the other thing that I love so much is that we'll make excuses and we'll say, and what's the first thing in the if you go back and start looking, because as soon as this Michigan news came out, all of the Michigan fans were in the comments section on YouTube, because we've probably got over 100 videos on this subject. Oh, no, everybody's forgotten that. We're still national champions. Apparently, now I'm in this.
Now, don't be stupid, okay? Don't be an idiot. Don't be out there with it, okay, Monty?
Apparently, not everybody has forgotten that, because those Michigan videos did over 25,000 views today.
Oh.
No, I could be wrong.
Well, you're always wrong. And this is an SEC show, so, us commenting.
And don't, I'm a fat dead Mormon.
Yeah,
but other than that.
And a Utah fan, but it's,
And I'm never right. We have no sources. But I'm going to say that not everybody's forgotten about it.
That's right, Tegan.
And time does not heal all wounds. And the NCAA, what did I tell you probably 4 months ago? The NCAA is going to make an example out of Jim Harbaugh. The NCAA is going to make an example out of Michigan. And why do you think they're going to do that? Because it's one of their last hills to die on. Because the NCAA doesn't have a whole lot to enforce anymore. Are they enforcing NIL? Are they enforcing amateurism? Are they no, none of that. Nope. Can't. Oh, where's the BYU bagman? Nobody gives a rat's ass because there's no such thing as bagman anymore.
The BYU bagman.
Oh, yeah.
Baby.
You remember that one? Yeah. What? The NCAA has its teeth in Michigan because they can. And I truly think, and before we get into the comment section, I think this Michigan scandal, all of them, because it's not just one.
Right.
It's not just two.
I've lost count at this point.
It's a whole bunch of scandals happening in Ann Arbor. Oh, I think it's just the gift that keeps on giving to a jaded group of dudes on the Committee on Infractions who knows they don't get to enforce many infractions anymore.
This case is empty.
And I think it's the fact that Michigan was so arrogant and so over the top. And so we did nothing wrong. Well, everybody steals signs. How many times did we hear that? Hungry. Those kids, Monty. Those kids were hungry, Monty. But Monty. No, but Monty's. But Monty. Them kids were just hungry for cheeseburgers.
This is a tasty burger.
It's a big kahuna burger, Monty.
Man, you mind if I have a sip of your beverage to wash down the taste of this perversion in our football program?
Listen, Marcellus Wallace was trying to. Anyway, the point is.
Program.
Turns out none of that's true. Turns out Jim Harbaugh and that recruit with his dad didn't just happen to be in the same diner in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
We really did.
And it just so happens that same kid, by the way, who testified to the NCAA, that it was so bizarre that flipping weirdo Jim Harbaugh was having a cheeseburger for breakfast. Because you guys know that's the truth of the story, right? The only reason the cheeseburger in that story is notable at all is because it was breakfast and Jim Harbaugh ordered a cheeseburger. And how do we know that? Because the kid remembered. That's the best part of it. That is the best part of it. But what do you guys think? Is this what Michigan fan? Because let me read you some of the comments out the comment section today.
Out of pocket.
On the Michigan videos. Jeremy Truss.
Big Truss.
Big Truss. Woo woo. Jeremy Truss. You guys make it out like this was murder. Nobody died. We won the chip. Let's all move on with our lives. Oh, well, nobody died.
I mean, you just took all their nudes and violated their personal privacy.
Who hasn't seen
but nobody died?
Who hasn't seen nudes?
I mean, it's just some pictures of some ass, apparently. What's the big deal, dude?
He didn't know. Jimmy didn't know.
Come on, dude.
Y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
Mike James.
Different than Rick James.
Mike James.
Mike.
Michigan had its moment in the sun, and there's nothing you're going to do to bring the rain clouds. Oh, that's so. Wait, my heart just skipped a beat. That's so romantic. Michigan had their moment in the sun. Let's all get your vitamin
Kumbaya,
D.
Dude.
Kumbaya, you cocks.
Macaque.
Kumbaya. Michigan had its moment in the sun, and there's nothing you're going to do to bring the rain clouds.
Please, you got to do at least one more. I mean, this is
the Bastille Whatever. Okay.
Who the fuck is that guy?
If Ward Manuel is such a bad administrator, what? If Ward Manuel,
Monty.
it's reloading. If Ward Manuel is such a bad administrator, why did we win a national championship and turn a basketball program around in such a short period of time? And if Ward Manuel is such a quote unquote scumbag, why did the NCAA allow him to sit on top of the college football world for over a year? I know, like,
well, I mean, you guys make it so easy. It's truly like, thank you, dude.
do you truly believe that Ward Manuel is a good administrator? Do you, the athletic director at Michigan, who oversaw the football program during all of these scandals, including Matt Weiss, who saw Juwan Howard, who he hired, who saw Juwan Howard destroy Michigan basketball? Do you really think that anybody cares what the chess club did those years?
Nah.
Do you really think anybody cares what Michigan hockey did those years? Nobody cares, because the only thing that makes you money is basketball and football, and they were both a scandalous wreck. And all that money you made winning a national championship, if you're banned from the postseason for 2 years, which most people think is going to happen, do you truly believe that Ward Manuel was a good administrator? Can you honestly sit here, Michigan fan, and describe Ward Manuel and say Ward Manuel was a good administrator? You've got 2 football coaches now suspended for the same crime.
That's pretty much self-explanatory.
For the same crime. You've got, and remember the whole, hey, the FBI's on your campus. No big deal, Monty. What? Turns out, not only is it a big deal, there are multiple crimes being committed. How many of them were done on a Michigan computer? On Michigan's network? Under Michigan great Ward Manuel's watch? And you can still sit here today and say he's a good administrator. Get out your goddamn mind. Well, if this was Ohio State, oh my God.
You fucking donkey.
Those Buckeye dirty pricks are at it again.
Yeah.
Like, it would be, you guys would be calling for Trump to send all of them, not to like some Central American country. Oh, just send them to Columbus. That's where all the criminals are anyway.
And it's very powerful.
Alcatraz, hell no. Send them to the shoe.
And don't pay him the $1,000 fine.
Like, you guys, Michigan fans would be, oh, Ryan Day's brother is a private investigator. He's the one who did this. Like, you guys would be, that would look like a nothing burger. Oh, his brother.
That's a burger reference.
Jim Harbaugh and Hungry Kids.
And Hungry Kids.
His
and
diner.
Stuff, you know. Idiots. Absolute buffoons.
Oh, it's just so much fun dealing with Michigan fans, especially when we're right.
Yeah. The level that Michigan fan will go to lie to themselves to feel better is incredible to me. I mean, truly.
All right, let's see who's in. I can't. We've got it, Ferris, you coward. If you do not comment today,
he's probably too busy being banned.
The only way you say fake. Oh, did we? That's right. Did we decide he? I didn't.
I don't know. We didn't do anything.
I didn't look it up.
I just know that he was 1 offense away, and typically he's 1 ban a day on the show.
Backwoods sexy Mike Smith. Well, Michigan fans should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what kind of comedy we can roll out today.
Exactly. Jay McClanahan, evening, guys. What's up, Jay? Good to see you. Matt Ritson, hello to you. TJ Beck, Michigan admits the cheeseburgers weren't cooked.
Unbelievable, dude.
You served raw meat to those young men.
Absolute outrage.
You served raw meat to young men. What is this, Penn State?
Wow, dude. That you didn't need to make a shower Olympics reference, dude.
Smiles and glory holes.
Rob. Okay. Matt Ritson. Come on. That's funny.
F around and find out.
Hey, another Big Ten school with perverse allegations.
I said carry a big load the other day and you lost your mind.
boy.
I bring up raw meat at Penn State and nobody has anything to say about that.
Perhaps play a little game called Just
the tip. Maury Elbrus. So what do y'all Michigan homers owe Monty for all the bashing you got? Turns out we were right again.
Yeah, no Monties,
You know what I'm saying? Keaton Critchlow. Hello, Keaton. Good to see you. Jacob Steinecker. Is this actually live? Well, in fact, it is.
Yes.
There he is, Eric Wasikowski. With the Pope. 2-game suspension is the big punishment. Oh, no, it's not. That was the self-inflicted.
No, that's the lie. That's the lie you're telling yourself to feel better about this.
And the lie your avatar is telling you.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
The 2-game suspension was self-imposed. Michigan suspended Sherrone Moore 2 games, reportedly, because it's not official yet. Big John, the level of ignorance from the institution and its fan base is mind-blowing.
Agreed. Completely.
It hurts your soul.
And honestly, the level of effort to perpetuate that ignorance is at an all-time high.
I can't even imagine it. By the way, I haven't coughed one time today.
Stay hard.
Some of us get healthy. Others of us do not. How's your cough?
Sorry, comes and goes. Yeah.
I love it. Dana Marie, hello to you. Loner Phone says better call Sauls. Multiple Sauls.
Right.
Multiple Sauls. Dev MC, what's up, guys? Stallions vacuum salesman news means I had to tune in.
Yeah, I mean, you knew it, right?
Vacuums are my thing.
Exactly. How about Riley Green making MLB history on Friday? Nobody cares. Sherrone Moore's a scumbag.
Yeah, what happened? Wait, what happened in Michigan, dude? What happened in Michigan? Don't deflect to baseball, dude. Don't deflect.
Don't deflect. Ooh, and your comments got filtered.
Oh, God.
Some of your comments got filtered.
Here we
go easy. I'm telling you. And
you don't always have to be negative.
This seems to always happen when the Michigan topic comes up. All we do is set a filter. Do you want coarse language is the only filter we have turned on.
Do you want accounts named Eric Wasikowski to be banned today?
And we said specifically no, as long as he has a fraudulent Pope. No.
Better fucking execution.
Right? Hey, fraudulent Pope, you're good to go.
Yeah.
No fraudulent Pope.
Yeah.
Is this the dagger?
You're off to Alcatraz.
Here, bro.
Go to Alcatraz.
Yeah.
You fraudulent Pope.
Nickel up to Alcatraz, bro.
Duh. Anyway, the point is, I have a lot of energy today. I slept so much over the weekend. The point is, if you use coarse language, and a lot of people say if you use emojis,
get your ass to Alcatraz, bro.
Dev MC, or excuse me, no, when stars align, I'll never recognize that when they cheated. End of story. Do you guys agree with that?
I just think that the win, yeah, it's just such a surface level, with all due respect. I'm not hating on this take, but I just think now with what we know about like Weiss and the sign stealing stuff and Jim and the lack of cooked cheeseburgers, like that's just the tip of the iceberg, dude. I don't give a damn about the national championship, dude. Yeah, like honestly,
that's just the tip.
It's just the tip, dude. Like
of
honestly,
the iceberg.
Yeah, like honestly, we're in a place where dude was out here in a back room on a computer, you know, going to the spank bank with nudes from, you know, students. Like, it doesn't get much worse than that, dude. You're one short of Penn State stuff at that point. Like, it doesn't, like, it's the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Like, I can't explain to you, like, how bad that is. And Michigan fan is going to say that Jim never knew, and, you know, he just was looking through his thick-ass glasses every day.
Can we
and had no
stop
idea.
with that? Can we stop
Like,
with the lone wolf thing?
It's ridiculous.
At what point do we look at Jim Harbaugh? And I totally agree with when stars align. They cheated, end of story. No team has ever needed to cheat that bad to win a natty. What a great legacy. Can we admit that Jim Harbaugh's legacy at Michigan is dysfunction, cheating, and just generally being a scumbag? Because you can't, okay, let's pretend, okay? Let's wind the clocks back. And let's pretend.
Let's wind the clocks back a year.
And pretend that it was only the Connor Stallions scandal. And Jim Harbaugh admitted it. Yep. You know what? I didn't know what he was doing, but it was my watch. I'm totally responsible for this. I'm the head coach. I'm responsible. How different would our perspective be if you hadn't had a guy committing computer crimes and stealing nudes from college students? If you hadn't had raw meat,
You gotta get stroked.
if you weren't giving raw meat to kids at diners, all of these things. If it was just Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh had said, totally my fault. I'm the football coach. The buck stops with me. How different would this conversation? They would have won the national championship. But no, you couldn't admit it. You wouldn't admit that you served yourself a raw meat and stuff. You couldn't admit that it wasn't a coincidence that you were in the diner with the kid and his dad. You couldn't admit that he was a lone wolf.
Okay, if you're having a cheeseburger for breakfast, are you like
you're a different kind of psycho?
Yeah, like is that like how does that work, dude?
I've had a cheeseburger for breakfast.
Yeah, but like I don't just roll up to a diner to get a burger at 7 a.m, dude.
Jim didn't either. He was there to meet a dad and his recruit.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
Let's ride.
But then the hard part is all of this stuff is happening, and then the FBI shows up. Oh, well, Monty, hey, dude.
Monty.
How many of you jackwagons in Ann Arbor were like, oh, well, Matt Weiss was a victim. Why'd you fire him then? Well, how about the Red Wings? Did you guys see the Red Wings? I don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest. But the FBI's on campus. Oh, but Javi Baez and
career resurgence in center field.
Have you guys seen the weather for it? Is going to be beautiful for the spring game.
Did you guys see Justin Tucker got let go today? Man, we don't need to talk about this.
And then you know what? Instead of talking about Jimmy and he's trying to feed those hungry kids, why don't you go look at Ryan Day's scumbag PI brother? Because that's what we get. And when we try to tell you, hey, this is a big deal. Lone Wolf. Hey, FBI's on campus.
No.
Matt Weiss is a victim.
No.
Well,
Matt Weiss is a victim.
Both the lone wolf and the victim both got fired, which would tell you somebody in Michigan thinks that the lone wolf wasn't a lone wolf.
They fired, they resigned. It's different.
The lone wolf and Matt Weiss are no longer employed. So, I mean, and then Jim Harbaugh, he's no longer employed too. And now Sherrone Moore is self-admitting and really Michigan giving him a 2-game suspension.
And it sucks.
How long can you guys be in denial?
Honestly.
Good grief. You won the championship. Sure you did. Nobody's going to take that away. Is it a legitimate championship? No, you cheated to win that. In my opinion, you cheated to win that title.
He's got no class.
And anytime anybody says, well, Michigan won a natty, well, you cheated to get there. Congratulations.
Hope you enjoyed the nudes.
How about all those nudes that got stolen?
Jackass.
Like it went legitimately, like a really good professional acquaintance of mine is a Michigan football fan. And we go about this probably once a month because Michigan won. Notre Dame, well, Riley Leonard sucks. So then I have to hear, well, we won a natty. Well, Connor Stallions sold some extra vacuums that month too, didn't he?
Yeah, a couple of Hoovers.
Right?
Roll Dyson,
Well, we won a natty. Yeah, but you also porned up on a bunch of like college students and high school seniors and broke into their accounts and committed all kinds of computer fraud, allegedly, across state lines, allegedly. And, the FBI's on campus, but we won a natty. Yep, but it turns out that Jim Harbaugh wasn't there just to get breakfast. Like, I can keep going with the, we won a natty. Well, see, but then Juwan Howard, and then the allegations, and
then was it the Connor Stallions on the CMU sideline stuff? Like,
and how many universities can say that they've self-reported and given their coaches multi-game suspensions?
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
How many big time universities actually are lying scumbags and not really that big time? I'm sure there's some report you can find on Google that talks about scumbag universities that actually aren't that big time. Gonna think if you just start with the maize and blue.
Is it possible that they could ride the D?
It's not the maize and blue anymore.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. And the big house, I'll tell you what, the big house has a different meaning now, doesn't it? The big house. Speaking of Alcatraz. That's where Matt Weiss is going.
Alcatraz.
The worst of the worst are going to be at Alcatraz. Matt Weiss.
Send his ass out to
Ward
the middle of the
Manuel. Ward Manuel certainly needs to go to Alcatraz because, wow, that guy sucks.
The answer is yes.
Well, I should probably stop. I've gotten carried away and I'm excited. Let's see. When stars align, it's embarrassing to be defending all the crimes up there. Speaks to your character if you excuse any of this. I agree with that. Mike Smith, the big is the pervert conference. Dude, you're not even kidding. Northwestern, Michigan, Michigan State, Jim Jordan, Penn State. How many?
Penn State again.
Penn State. Vanderbilt by way of Penn State. And thankfully, I'm speaking of sex crimes, I'm a football fan of a Catholic university. So what could possibly go wrong? Okay, probably should move on. Like, do you understand? Like, it's the Big Ten.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
Steely, good afternoon, Steely. Embarrassing the big in college football, 100%. 100%. Bobblehead guru.
Oh, God.
This ought to be interesting. What is an advanced scout? Define it. There is no NCAA definition. Hey, bobblehead, you should probably...
you do. Okay, wait. Again, how easy can you make this for us? Do you...
Seriously.
Was this like, did you say to yourself, okay,
wait,
I'm going to come into the comment section,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going to serve Monty in 2 holes, Monty in 2 holes, just a nice silver platter here. We're going to have the white linen on the table, a nice silver tray, a big fat ass New York strip, and I'm just going to serve this to him right on the plate. You can't be serious that you want the definition of advanced scouting. You can't be serious, dude.
And the best part of this is, why is it illegal? Because it's not illegal to essentially scout teams, look at their video. Did I mention that you get all the video that Connor Stallions had his minions going,
because it's illegal.
You get all that video, but that's neither here nor there. Did I mention, do you guys know the genesis of no advanced scouting in college football? Do you remember why?
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, they didn't want to spend
it.
It
wasn't some big illegal thing.
Again, this issue is not about them stealing the signals per se.
No.
It's how you went about stealing the signals, dude.
Dope.
Like, how hard is this, bro?
On a public ticket account, on a public Venmo account,
like
on a public iCloud account.
What, the Signal app wasn't available? Come on, dude.
Pete, heck, never mind.
Be better.
The point is, it's not advanced scouting's not necessarily the problem. Sign stealing's not necessarily the problem. Because
sign stealer guy.
Go ahead and dig into the NCAA rule book. Where does it say sign stealing's illegal? Wait, it doesn't. What's illegal is sending people to other stadiums with recording devices.
To do what? Oh, that's right. To advance scout.
Because the only reason it's illegal to advance
scout
is
illegal.
Because they were being cheap and they were trying to save money.
Right. So nobody sends scouts out. It's all available on film.
That's why they have a film exchange.
That's why Michigan fan defending all this. You look like an idiot, with all due respect.
Yeah. Like, this is
like, you're an idiot, dude.
This is
like,
what Michigan fans do. This is what Michigan fans do. Steely says bobblehead guru is Ferris. I would not be. So you are banned. So
wait,
you are
do we
banned.
Factually know that that's Ferris.
Yeah. Do we know that that's Ferris, Steely? That's hysterical. When stars align, probably Steely. Wouldn't be surprising because it's illegal.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, this is not difficult.
If we're good,
because it's illegal.
Let's take the conjecture and the hyperbole out of it. The bottom line is, Michigan's admitted to pretty much everything
except the raw meat stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was Penn State. My point is, Michigan's admitted to sign stealing.
Right.
How do we know that? They fired Connor Stallions. Now Sherrone Moore is taking a self-imposed 2-game suspension for his behavior and his actions in covering up his communications with Connor Stallions.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was a lone wolf. So why would they be communicating? My point is, My point is, Michigan's admitted all this, you guys. They admitted the cheeseburger gate thing, as people call it.
Cheeseburger gate.
They admitted recruiting violations and Jim Harbaugh's evasiveness the only word that I can, in my opinion, use is covering up. Because he avoided commenting and meeting with the NCAA, and it essentially can't make a comment about Matt Weiss because that's a federal case. They've admitted all of this. Do you think that they willingly let the FBI come on their campus to investigate computer crimes that turned out to be heinous sex crimes?
Do you think the FBI wants anything to do with going onto a college campus to investigate something?
No.
Like,
no, come on. All I'm telling you guys is, like, you look at the Western Michigan thing. Look how many legacies, careers, resumes have been absolutely gutted and destroyed by the actions of Michigan's leadership.
Yet they are still employed.
All so that you can say you won a single national championship that nobody's going to recognize. Because you won it in disgraceful fashion. And the sad thing is, and I know this pisses off Ohio State fan, but you know what the real sad part about this whole story is? Michigan was clearly the best football team in 2023. Not close.
Best offensive line. I would say
best
defense. I would say best on both sides of the ball, honestly.
That was a really good roster and a really good football team who had a scumbag for an athletic director, who had a lying scumbag for a head coach, who had a lying scumbag for an offensive coordinator, who's now the head coach, and a president who looked the other way, allegedly, and facilitated all of it.
And by the way, give Sign Stealer guy credit. One of the best analytics guys we've ever seen in college football.
And again, much like the roster and the football team, Connor Stallions was elite at his job.
Sign Stealer guy.
Why set up this whole thing? Has Connor Stallions ever denied
write
it?
the manifesto?
Has Connor Stallions ever denied it?
Nope.
Has Jim Harbaugh ever said, oh, well, Connor Stallions, that's my guy? We would just the opposite. Like, you threw people under the bus because you think you were protecting your good name. Jim, I got news for you. People like me, and I'll tell you, you know how I view Jim Harbaugh? In my opinion, he is the scum of the coaching earth. You are the worst. In my opinion, you are the worst of the worst. You put kids in harm's way. You ruin careers. You ruin legacies. Most of all, you destroyed a really good university at Michigan.
Yep.
And nobody recognizes you as an elite college football coach because you couldn't win until your lone wolf went off and started stealing signals.
Yep.
It's plain and simple. And now, for the second time, the second head coach at Michigan, self-imposed suspension. It's wild. And yet Michigan fans are like, oh, man, dude, I'll tell you what, we're the best in the business. At what? You're the best in the business. You're the best at what? What is Jim Harbaugh? Does anybody believe that Jim Harbaugh is an elite head football coach? I've covered him at Stanford and at the San Francisco 49ers. I can tell you firsthand, he is not well regarded by his players, and he doesn't win at the highest level. Has never won a championship. So, is he an elite football coach? No, he's not. No, he's not. Is Ward Manuel an elite athletic director? Come on, guy. Come on. Really? Is Santaono a great president? Yeah, if you don't mind alleged felony computer crimes that involve stealing nudes out of people's accounts that you hacked from an NCAA database. Other than that, I mean, what more could you want? Come on. Who are we kidding? And I think the worst part for Michigan fan is Ohio State is doing it the right way. They're making more money than you. Their championship is legitimate and nobody questions it. They were clearly the best team in the country. They had the best coaching staff. They had the best talent base. All of it. And you? No, just the opposite.
Have fun taking that punishment.
That's my point.
Have fun not seeing the postseason for probably 2 years.
And you brought Captain America home. He's a Michigan man until the Chargers came and paid him a bunch of money and he took a dump on your forehead.
How could he, dude? How could he ever leave?
He would never leave us.
Man, wow. Dude.
Pack everything up. We're out of here.
Come on. You'd never catch Pat Fitzgerald doing something like that. That's why I said Northwestern.
Well said.
At least Pat Fitzgerald sued to try and protect what left of his good name. Where's Jim Harbaugh's lawsuit?
But he's innocent. Why wouldn't he sue?
Yeah, all these allegations are false.
Yeah, this is all made up, right?
Cheeseburgers for kids. I didn't know he was going to be there. What?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I just said hello.
Yeah.
Where's that? Why? Wait a minute. Why did you not go and sit with the committee on infractions when you were asked, Jim?
Because you're innocent, right? I mean, there should be nothing. There's no issue here.
You know why you're not going to sue, Jim? Do you know why you're not going to sue? Because then discovery comes out. And then evidence comes out. What did you really know about Matt Weiss? What did you really know about Connor Stallions?
Because they can prove all that stuff.
What did you really know,
Jimbo?
Because we already know you committed level 1 violations. Not a secret. We already know.
To that point, the other thing that has always stood out to me about Jim and this whole thing, this whole saga, is the comfort with which they violate rules.
The ease of
the
it. Willingness.
The ease, the willingness, the comfort, the lack of any fear of consequences. And that truly, out of any of this stuff, the Matt Weiss nudes thing is number 1 on the list of stuff with Michigan that bothers me the most.
Jared Curtis is not going to Oregon.
No, that boy going to Georgia. First team all SRT. Over under 5 months.
5-star recruit Jared Curtis, the number 1 quarterback in 2026, has committed to Georgia over Oregon.
And why is that? Oh, I know.
Wow.
I know. Because Georgia's got a quarterback need. That's why.
That is shocking.
And by the way, Texas already has their quarterback. So when you look at winning the SEC, Georgia needed somebody.
That is shocking. That is absolutely shocking. That's a huge. I thought Oregon had him. He was originally committed, and if I'm wrong, somebody will correct me, I'm sure, because I'm stupid and don't know anything. He was originally committed to Georgia, pulled his name out, and everybody assumed was going to wind up at Oregon. And now he's going back to Georgia. I wonder if they probably got him out of a Challenger into a Charger into what's the Dodge? The Hank Voigt SUV thing.
Durango.
A Durango.
Hellcat Durango.
Yeah, Hellcat Durango.
Yeah,
Hellcat Durango. That dude's getting a Hemi. They're bringing the Hemi back, by the way. Wow, that's a shocking story. That is a shocking story. Art Briles versus Jim Harbaugh, who wins the scumbag off. Well, Jim Harbaugh never facilitated the certain things that you may have or may not, Bobblehead guru. There's no NC definition of advanced scouting. It's a loophole both sides. No, it's not. No, Ferris, it's not. It's not a loophole. That is factually incorrect. It is not a loophole. It is period, point blank. You can have no in-person advanced scouting.
See, and this
period.
is, but look at the end of the comment.
Story.
Look at the end of the comment. This is telling.
NCAA will not outlast Michigan in this dispute. Just declare pseudo victory and move on. Well, you're the same jackwagon who told me that there would be no more punishment, that Connor Stallions was a lone wolf, that Matt Weiss was a victim. I believe you came in here and defended Matt Weiss.
Yeah.
And now you're saying that there will be a pseudo victory. You're spreading lies. You're spreading lies, Ferris, because all this is saying it's a loophole. It's not true. That is factually incorrect. You have no basis. It is very clear. Very clear. Jeremiah Champion says, hit the like button. Surprised by Curtis too. I'm stunned by that. I mean, this would be akin to, in my opinion, because Dan Lanning's going to have quarterbacks, right? There's no question about that. Does this kid not want to compete?
What do you mean?
Well, because Dan Lanning, and I will look it up because I want to be correct. Oregon football. Let's look at their recruits, because I'm pretty certain he's got, I think it was 6, that he's got 6 quarterbacks on his roster and in his pipeline. Let's see. Correct. Yeah, he's got 6 quarterbacks in his pipeline. That's exactly correct. So I'm wondering, does he not want to?
No, he wants to play for someone who can actually win a national championship. That's what he wants to do. He wants to play in the SEC. He wants to play in the best conference in college football as the number 1 quarterback recruit. And he wants to play for a proven head coach, with all due respect to Dan Lanning.
I mean, I don't disagree with this. Has not been a good period for Dan Lanning in recruiting and transfer portal. But
why? This is the important thing you can't skip over. Why? Oh, that's right. Because you were Oregon football putting a massive duck out front of every stadium you went and played at. And then you got your ass beat by Ohio State in embarrassing fashion, and you weren't even competitive.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go, with all due respect to Dan Lanning? If you're the number 1 quarterback recruit in the country, why would you go to Oregon right now when you can go to Georgia?
You wouldn't. You absolutely wouldn't.
You just wouldn't. I mean, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. And so the next logical step, if Georgia's not your number 1, would be Texas, but you're not going there because of Arch. And then, you're looking at Ohio State then, I guess, if you're a quarterback. And you just have to decide which situation you like better. But, to me, if I want to win natties and I want to be in that competition for 3 years in a row, I'm going to Ohio State or Georgia.
And I'm not saying that. I look at some of the, obviously Dan Lanning's probably got a top 5 incoming class.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Malik Benson, Hughes coming in, Emmanuel Pregnon coming in, he's got Barry Alexander from USC. He's got multiple USC kids coming in. But I would be really cautious. If you're an Oregon fan, there are some red flags there. And I think if I were you, I would be very careful. I'd be very careful getting excited about that, because it's kind of surprising he lost this kid. It is really surprising he lost this kid. I would be very careful with that. Johnny Gonzalez, but playing in the best conference of college football is fine if you're at the best team in the conference. Is Georgia backsliding? Apparently not.
Now,
apparently not with Jared Curtis. When you get the number 1 quarterback in the class, now you got to develop that kid.
But what would make anybody believe that Georgia is backsliding? I understand that they didn't win the national championship. I understand that wasn't their best year in the playoff, but you were still in the playoff, right? You were still there. You're not going to win every single season. I think that the Carson Beck, Gunnar Stockton situation piped you in the playoffs, dude. And that's why dude went to Miami. And now you're sitting here with Gunnar Stockton trying to figure out, and again, in all fairness to him, right? First real start at Georgia in a playoff game.
Well, and Caden Dixon-Wyatt going to Ohio State, that's not ideal.
You're sitting here at Georgia with a clear need, and you have a clear championship pedigree. I agree that it's a little bit surprising that Dan didn't land this kid.
I think it's a lot of bit surprising.
I don't
see. And I think Caden Dixon-Wyatt, you can't tell me that kid's decision had no impact on. The stories will come out.
Yeah.
But I would just look at it, and I want to make this clear. I'm not saying that Oregon's decimated or really good incoming portal class, but you look at some of the kids leaving. They're going to UCLA. One of their better linebackers went to Utah. You start looking at who's leaving and where they're going to. That's a little scary. That's a little scary, is what I would say. Mike Smith, Mountain Mama. Maybe a QB would want to go to a team that is known for throwing to good wide receivers. Sure. Some might want to go to a school where a running QB is the way to go, and so on. Absolutely. And I think one of the things you got to look at is, I believe Curtis is from Tennessee. So, but why do you rip his name out of the Georgia process in the first place? Because he probably was looking at Oregon. And
sorry, not to sidetrack everything. This just popped up on my X feed, and forgive me for not knowing this heading into the Michigan conversation. Were you aware that Santa Ono on Sunday left Michigan?
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, he's left Michigan.
What?
Yeah. So in
How
an
did I miss
announcement,
that?
yeah, I missed this too. In an announcement Sunday, Santa Ono, the president of the University of Michigan, informed students and faculty he would be taking a new position as the president of the University of Florida.
I did not see that. Bro, is everybody just moving on to bigger and better things? Because Florida's a better job. No, it's not. Are you kidding me? He went to Florida?
Dude, are you serious?
I did not see that. I had not heard that. And there it is. The first thing that pops up, Santa Ono leaves Michigan.
Dude, you can't be serious that you guys think nothing more is coming. Why would he leave?
He was not there. How long was he there? That's wild. He was only there 3 academic years. Jesus. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, Michigan fan, you're going into a very dark period. And Ward Manuel's on the clock. Because if you're an incoming president,
you got to get rid of him.
You've already roiled up the lather of your board of regents. You've now lost your basketball coach to scandal, your football coaches to scandal. Your only real accomplishment as the athletic director is that you won a national championship. That's a little shocking.
Dude, I don't mean to be dramatic, but I am shocked. Like,
that's a little, I did not hear that.
It is. Yeah. We should have known that, but apparently that came out Sunday and I did not see that at all. And I feel like that's been pretty under the radar. That's incredible that he left. And what's more incredible is he left for, I mean, you can make a case either way, but you left the Big Ten for the SEC, and that's the reality of it. So you're going to a school that has to perform in football now. Like, you understand the pressure that's on Buddy in football? Like, you need to win now.
Because if Santa Ono took over in October of 2022, when was Matt Weiss suspended? Wasn't that January 2023?
Let me look just to confirm.
So that's on his watch. Now, obviously, Jim Harbaugh and COVID and his activities would not have been under Santa Ono.
Yes, January 2023.
So that's definitely on Santa Ono's watch. Jim Harbaugh during COVID, the actual crimes, violations were not committed under Santa Ono, but the cover-up and then the fight to protect Jim Harbaugh and insulate him absolutely were in the offer to make him the highest paid football coach in the history of college football. That came from Ono's office. So the Jim Harbaugh stuff, the Santa Ono or the Matt Weiss stuff, the Connor Stallions stuff, it's awfully hard to just
like, how do you just look past that, bro?
And if you're Florida, are you like, well, we got to have this guy on staff? Oh, hire that guy. Billy Napier's safe now.
I'm like, what?
Oh,
what are the people saying?
The people rest, sir. That's amazing. Big Papa War Machine. Ward Manuel was also the college football playoff chair last year. Luckily for everyone, Mac Rhodes is in charge now. As we stated earlier in the show, Ward Manuel proceeded over one of the worst selection processes anybody has ever seen. Ever. It just ignoring strength of schedule. Ever. Damian Fowler, what's up, broskies? Monty got his ears lowered a little bit. I'm having kind of a hair day today. Like, you got the lettuce and the stuff, and like I'm just having a hair day. Like, maybe I need to. I use the I can't remember the name of the company.
Harry's.
I hate Harry's razor blades. Dollar Shave Club, screw you. I was so much more of a Dollar Shave Club guy. Wow, no one's leaving now. They know what's coming. Everyone's leaving. You're exactly right. Conundrum, Santa don't do hard time. Well, when stars align, Ward is a goner once a new president comes in. How could you not? Because your athletic director is a really important figure in your administration.
Yep.
There's no question about that.
He's the face of the front office of the school. Let's be real.
That's very telling. And now my phone's blowing up.
Oh God, here we go.
Did he really? Look up Santa Ono's new salary. Somebody is texting me saying he took a $950,000 pay cut to go to Florida. Oof. If that's true, good Lord. Johnny Gonzalez, I just subscribed to Michigan on Only Scandals app. There you go. Otherwise known as Signal. Sorry, I'm a bad person. Isaiah Hull is the worst of the entire Michigan propaganda machine. Well, I don't know that there's a best.
He can receive up to $3 million in total cash compensation annually. And if he does that, he would become the highest paid public university president in the country.
Okay, what
was his salary in Michigan?
Let's go take a look. What was his salary and what are those bonuses based on is my question. How much of that is athletic achievement? $1.3 million.
His base.
His base. A base salary of $1.3 million, which we'll have to see what that looks like. But I mean, if it's $950,000, I am very curious what that looks like, because that you can't tell me somehow, some way that's just an overreach. And I'm trying to find it. Ono initially signed a 5-year contract that paid him $975,000, $350,000 in deferred. October, the Board of Regents extended his deal through 2032. They extended him through 2032 to a base salary of $1.3 million. Wow, no kidding. Ono touted his accomplishments, including the Look to Michigan campaign, a $7 billion fundraising effort that is more than halfway to its goal. His tenure at look at this from the Detroit Free Press. But his tenure at Michigan has been marked by controversies, especially the school's handling of the situation in the Middle East and repeated scandals in the athletic department. That's not good. University said the shifting money to student initiatives, including the expansion of Go Blue Guarantee, which provides free tuition to in-state students whose household incomes are under $125,000, will continue. Well, that's good. I think it's crazy to believe that Santa Ono isn't leaving in disgrace. I would have a hard time with that. What is his? And just looking, and I apologize, we're doing this on the fly, because it is. I did not see this. This all came out last night, by the way, is when these stories are dated. Last night, up to $3 million. He will begin his tenure as president on May 6th in Gainesville. It just says up to $3 million. Usually in Michigan, the agreement came just 2 years. Okay. Yeah, no, it's up to $3 million. It looks like his base is matched. The contract almost mirrors his deal with Michigan.
And let's not forget, just as a little cherry on top, outside of the athletic, the athletic department portion of Santa Ono's responsibility at Michigan. Ono's impending departure also comes amid a lawsuit filed by 8 former Michigan employees alleging they were fired and banned from working at the university because they spoke out in support of Palestinian human rights. So he's also being sued for that.
The Middle East thing is a big scandal. Let me see what the very first Detroit Free Press story is on this, because I'm a little surprised that it was last night at 6:38 p.m. updated 11 minutes ago. Gets mixed marks from students and staff. Oh wow, it was kind of shocking he's leaving, but it seems very necessary for the university to move on and heal after 8 students filed a lot. Well, so this lawsuit very, very clearly is an issue. Wow. Yeah. You know what? I think it's an opportunity for Michigan. There's no doubt about that. I mean, if you're a supporter of Michigan, this certainly tells you that there could be a new day. Ward Manuel's got to go. There's no doubt. If
it's just a matter of time.
If we're talking about sports and the geopolitical atmosphere at Michigan, I mean, there's no question that Michigan is a blend of politics, but I think Israel, Gaza, the Middle East has absolutely divided campuses across the country. I think he does not handle scandal well. He does not handle adversity well, and he allows the Cowboys to run the ranch. So I think that is a big deal. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. Bobblehead says, not happy with my arguments. No, I think what people are not happy with is your bullshit, Ferris.
Yeah.
That's what people are not happy with. The stadium guy, James, if Harbaugh is such a great coach, why is it that when TCU changed their signs, the Frogs beat the tar out of them?
Another great point that I always reference.
I think it is a good point.
It's super factual, and I think it's super relevant.
And when TCU was warned that Michigan was stealing their signs, they used fake signs.
They changed their entire system.
And deceived Michigan something fierce. Maybe this surgery gets Michigan's head out of their...
Well, I mean, there's no question. The word that is most relevant would be cleansing, which is apparently what's happening.
Obviously we tend to inflate the value of sports, but I think the controversies, he was only there 3 years. I mean, to have as many controversies as he oversaw there. I mean, anytime you're a president and the FBI shows up on your campus and you are caught blindsided, that's not good. Dude. That's not good. And I think it's one of those things where you have to really start to understand why and how those things came to be.
Yeah.
And how those things came to be is a big deal. Backwoods, sexy Mike Smith, super factual, super relevant, and more importantly, super sexy. That's what I'm saying.
In the backwoods.
No, well, Ferris almost confirmed because now Bobblehead Guru's been filtered. See you in 5 minutes. Apparently, Bobblehead Guru cannot comment for 5 minutes. Way to be on brand. But they did happen and Michigan lost. There you go. Right. The stadium guy, Bobblehead Guru is Ferris. Complete denial of reality. The bottom line is TCU beat the tar out of Michigan. I don't think there's any doubt.
As a TCU fan, you're probably proud, right? I mean, obviously your fandom is just so dialed in.
Can we stop with are you an Oklahoma State fan or are you a TCU fan?
Well, Monty, I'm a fan of both.
No, you're not.
My wife went to Baylor. I'm a Kermit fan, and I'm a TCU fan, and I'm an Oak State fan.
Listen, as a supporter of the scumbag Kansas City Chiefs, obviously I'm a Nebraska Cornhuskers fan. You put a doppelganger at quarterback. Who says no? That's a Dylan Raiola bomb. Number 15 for the Kansas City.
Mr. Adidas wear.
Yeah. It's fine. Let's put a bow around this Michigan thing. How much do you think is left in the NCAA's punishment arsenal?
I mean, I think there's still a good amount. I mean, I think that, so now that Santano's gone, Ward's going to leave for sure. Whether he resigns or is fired, I don't know, but he'll be gone. No doubt about it. And so I think the timing of this is just, if I'm the NCAA, I agree with you. They don't have a lot of power left. So I still think they're going to make an example out of Michigan and do everything they can do to prove a point. And, if it'll be less because it would be a new administration who is completely uninvolved, in all of this. Mm-hmm. So, I think for the sake of the school, I think it's a proper decision. I think, whether people were leaning on Santano or he made that decision himself, him leaving changes the conversation because now you're one step away from, Jim, Ward Manuel, Sherrone, Santa Ono, all these guys, getting closer and closer to moving on. And, if I'm new leadership, like, yeah, once Ward's gone, I might even look at removing Sherrone just to completely and utterly wipe that whole thing out and start over.
I think if they get decimated, I think that could happen. The problem is Michigan athletics on the whole do not win. And I think when you look at, their best sport right now is probably men's gymnastics.
How about hockey?
You look at, they haven't won a hockey championship since 1998.
Damn.
So just looking at baseball 1962, men's basketball 1989, field hockey, nobody cares. Football 1997 because you're not getting 2023. Men's golf 1935. Men's gymnastics 2025. Women's gymnastics 2021. Ice hockey, 1998. Softball, 2005. Tennis, 67. Track and field, 23. Men's trampoline. Swimming and diving, 2013. Like, you're just not winning.
Yeah.
In sports. And you're ravaged by scandal. And yet, Michigan fan will continue to defend Ward Manuel. And I am shocked by it. As far as what I think is left for the NCAA, I do think this is a battle out of spite. The harsh words that Jim Harbaugh, Ward Manuel, Santa Ono had for the NCAA, the criticism and the threats that Michigan levied against the Big Ten for sharing information with the NCAA, the injunction being pulled out quite literally at the very last second. Not the NCAA, by some reports, wanted Jim Harbaugh banned from campus, like Sherrone Moore, which we told you on this show. One of the bones of contention was that the Big Ten allowed Michigan to suspend Jim Harbaugh, but have him be able to talk to the team right up until kickoff time.
Right.
Suspended for the game. After the game's final, Jim Harbaugh is right back. So you suspended him for 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I think you're seeing Sherrone Moore being removed from football activities and football in any way, shape, or form, physically or electronically, for 2 full weeks. Sending a message, you upped that.
Yeah.
I think it's just this continuation. I think you're looking at what I think will be a 4-game suspension, but up to 6 weeks. I think you're looking at a 2-year postseason ban. I think you are looking at a dramatic reduction in recruiting activity, which means for, I think, a full cycle, you're not going to be able to leave campus to go and recruit. I think your ability to recruit electronically, which means, hey, let's get on FaceTime, is going to be wiped out for a full cycle. Like, they are going to limit your ability to recruit and bring in new kids. And I think that is going to be crippling to Michigan football. If it's a 2-year postseason ban and a full cycle recruiting ban, you're in real trouble. And that's not even a scholarship reduction. Because if there's a scholarship reduction on top of a recruiting cycle ban and a 2-year postseason ban, dude, you're going to be knocked out for 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
And I think that is poetic. That is justice. That is righteous. They're not going to vacate the championship.
No.
It just doesn't work that way. It just does not work that way. Stadium Guy James, we're reading your paid comment. I'm saying Sherrone gets 6-game suspension. P.S. I can root for TCU. You can't. I start my demon. Nobody cares.
Your demon?
You're there in October. You are a demon.
Hold up. Wait. So you're not even technically a student there yet, right? Or do I have that wrong?
You can root for Oak State or you can root for TCU. You can't root for both.
Just saying.
Those are the rules. Those are the rules. It is why
Monties, dude.
It is why scumbag Michigan fans rooting for Michigan State. Oh, well, we're out of the tournament. Nobody cares, scumbag. Nobody cares. You can't root for TCU and Oak State because what happens when they play? I win either way. No, you don't.
You know,
Oak State doesn't have a seminary. So you're going to TCU, a fine learning institution.
Yeah, you're, big fan of the horn, huh?
No problem with that. No problem with that, man. You got to play with a big horn? Do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, that's what it is.
Yeah, boy.
Do what you got to do, man. You're just not going to root for TCU football. Not going to happen. Without that resume, they had only one choice. Well, and maybe they took it. Brandon Butler. Did anyone see the interview with Iowa State AD? Jeez Louise. Did you guys hear about that? Oh, how the revenue sharing is going to cripple athletics. Did anybody see did you guys see the Iowa State? Is it a scandal? It is unbelievable to me that Iowa State, and I want to find it before I just pop off about it. It's unbelievable to me that Iowa State is involved in your Iowa State. How much room for error do you have at Iowa State?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. And so when you get into lawsuits and investigations, you just can't have it. And I'm being purposely guarded because I want to be very careful with it. The NCAA has taken disciplinary action against 5 current or former Iowa State football support staff members for combining to make more than 6,200 online bets, totaling more than $100,000 on professional and college games, including men's and women's basketball games involving Iowa State. 5 were identified during a state investigation into sports wagering activities in campus athletics from 21 to 23. They face no criminal charges. In a negotiated resolution finalized last week, the staff members knowingly said they knowingly violated NCAA sports wagering bylaws, and all are subject to 1-year show cause orders through April 24th of 2026. How are you Iowa State? And you have been the subject of a massive gambling probe where now multiple 5 current or former football staff admitted they bet on college sports, including Iowa State. How does that happen? How does that happen? That's wild to me. Mike Smith, conjunction, junction, what's your function? If you remember that, you're old. Oh, man, Saturday morning cartoons. Look at the Twitter feed, and Michigan is now an independent. Okay. Looking at Twitter feed, Michigan is now an independent. Remember that when they were going to leave the Big Ten? Because they were disgusted.
The hell out of here.
So crazy. Not your Dame and Michigan will be indie dates. Well, that's fine. Big Blue Horses. I do not agree with UF hiring. Oh, no, he's not a strong leader. He makes questionable hiring decisions. However, the board doesn't want a power struggle, and the former president wasn't playing second fiddle. Well,
yeah,
there is that. Johnny, Monty, it's not FaceTime, it's Skype. That was just terminated.
Yeah, Skype was turned off today.
Yeah. Did I say Skype before?
I don't know.
I might have said Skype. Can the NCAA punish Michigan via NIL? I have no idea.
No clue. I think that's a largely untapped landscape in terms of discipline.
Mike Smith, James talking demon and semen. God darn perv.
Yeah, seriously.
He's not. He's a good dude, but it does make for good.
Okay,
fodder.
now check this out.
Yes.
Our good friend Jeremiah Champion has, in our members only group, posted 2 pictures from his classroom that I would like to enter into the docket of evidence here for being a fan of
evidence,
like 18 teams. Now, I have a question. Firstly, while Monty puts the pictures.
Monty, hey Monty.
Number one, if you're a teacher and you have a bunch of different banners up on the wall of different teams, does that mean you're technically a fan of all those teams because it's your classroom? Like, is that how the rules work? Is that what, is that how we define that? Or is does Jeremiah get a pass for this being decorative? That's my question. Is this decorative?
Does he get a pass for this being decorative?
Yeah. Like, is this just the vibe of the classroom? That's why he's got all these pennants up? Or does this mean you're fans?
Arkansas, Carolina, Clemson. Well, Oklahoma State? It's disgusting.
Because it's garbage.
Texas State. And is that Central Florida? What is that? That could be Central Florida. Wow. And then Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Baylor, pew pew, Alabama.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby.
Sandusky State. And then Arizona. I got respect for Arizona.
So I'm just trying to understand, is this decorative or are you a fan of all these teams? Need some clarity here.
That's tough.
Okay.
I like the stonework at Ammon Center.
Okay. Listen, dude, what you do with rocks is up to you, bro.
It looks really good and matches the rest of the architecture on campus. Well, I mean,
wow.
What is wrong with you? Okay. Maybe it is schools his students are a fan of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's my point. Is this maybe this is a student reference?
Okay. Brandon Butler, the ad was saying 20 million was going to have a lot of athletic departments contemplating go down a level. Oh, we've talked about that ad nauseam.
Oh, no question. I mean, most athletic departments aren't going to want to pay for that.
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I think
you're going to have, I mean, feels a little strong to say half of institutions, but I would say 30-40% is solid. I think that's kind of the initial starting point. And then I think you're going to have a handful of schools that could afford it, but don't want to pay it. So they don't, try to work it into the budget. Like, you're going to see that.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's a very interesting look at the world. That's just how I view it. I think by the 4th of July, we will have a much clearer look, by the way, at what the Michigan situation's all about. And I think you're going to get one fell swoop from the NCAA.
Yeah, that's usually how they work.
And I actually hope that they don't cripple Michigan. I hope that Sherrone Moore is terminated. What I would do if I were the NCAA is I would say you can remove anybody that was in employment when Jim Harbaugh was the head coach. Any employee in the football department who was employed while Jim Harbaugh was there has to be wiped out. And I'm sorry if you're a 40-year secretary. Thank you for your service. Any employee that was there while Jim Harbaugh was there, coaches, the guy that puts Clorox on the jock strap, the seam of the jock strap, Can
we not make those kind of motions anymore?
Macaque.
Okay. I'm telling any employee gone. And that includes Ward Manuel has to be terminated. Anybody in the football department has to be terminated who was there. And really from Jim Harbaugh through today has to be terminated because Sherrone Moore, anybody he brought in, fruit of the poisonous tree.
Yep.
I would, if I were the NCAA, I would clean house there. I would absolutely make a declaratory statement that championship, an asterisk, a whatever, I'm not vacating it, but in the NCAA annals of time, you absolutely have to put a footnote that there was a massive sign stealing scandal. There were recruiting violations.
Facts.
And there was an FBI investigation that led to a massive indictment of the offensive coordinator of the 2022 team, Matt Weiss. And I would take them off the recruiting trail for an entire cycle. That would be it. I'm not reducing scholarships. None of that. We're not vacating wins. I would.
No, I think it's very much like past is the past. We're going to hurt you in the future.
Well, I think I would handle Jim Harbaugh differently. I would wipe Jim Harbaugh's name every win from the moment that Connor Stallions was employed until his last day at Michigan. Every one of those wins is wiped off his ledger.
Yeah.
Because all of them are in question. Every single one of them. That's how I would handle it. I would, sorry. And if you're one of those people who said, well, you can't punish the kids. I'm not punishing the kids. Jim Harbaugh is.
Yeah.
Santa Ono did. Ward Manuel did. Connor Stallions did. Sherrone Moore did. Sherrone Moore is. It's just the way it is, man. Yeah. You know, like you can't tell me anymore that the kids are innocent. Well, I have an LLC document that says they're not. Because if Balake's name is on that and there was no lawsuit or federal investigation that led to charges of, you know, a multitude of charges from wire fraud, forgery.
Yeah.
Then I can only be left to assume that Blake Corum was involved in that LLC.
Facts.
That's all I can be left to assume. So Jim Harbaugh would fail to exist in the Michigan record book. If I'm the next president at Michigan, Jim Harbaugh is absolutely wiped off the slate at Michigan as a coach. I don't know Jim Harbaugh. You mean John, the coach of Baltimore, who actually hired Matt Weiss? That same guy? You mean John? Because I don't recall a Jim.
Oh, hold on just real quick, because I know that sometimes these things run in families, you know. So Connor Stallions only ever worked for Jim, right? Oh, no, he didn't.
I would absolutely decimate Jim Harbaugh at Michigan.
And then what's funny about this to me, and this is just premise-based, you know, just sake of conversation. It's funny that on the same day that the Ravens released Justin Tucker for being a washcloth king, is the same day that Santa Ono leaves Michigan.
I'm telling you that the Harbaugh family is a wrecking crew of integrity. They just, the way I should say that is, they wreck integrity. They're just, yeah, you know.
Justin Tucker has 16 accusers. Just so we're on the same page.
Not one or two or three.
16, bro.
Accusers. So, let's see. Rock and Rant. Detroit News says the split with Ono was because he wanted to keep Michigan out of Trump's DEI crosshairs. The board wanted more public resistance, so Florida makes a lot of sense in that context. Hey, could be.
Yeah, maybe it is. You never know the full story, in my opinion.
Good to see you, Rock and Rant. Could be.
I appreciate you.
And by the way, Cam Ward. No, I'm kidding. I'm playing. Dude, I'm totally playing. Yeah, could be. You know, I read that story. Those three letters put together on YouTube spell disaster. I believe DEI is pronounced, oh God. I believe that's how it's pronounced.
Macaque.
Right? Iowa State fans said it's not like Pete Rose because they only bet on Michigan. Exactly right. Exactly.
Okay.
They were going on Connor Stallions information there.
I wonder if they were having
allegedly
cheeseburgers while they were placing those bets as well, you know?
You know. BYU football, the kids can transfer, they're not being hurt. Yeah, kids, and there's no such thing as, you know. Anyway, Rock and Rant says LOL. Yeah, real funny. Ask Shador how funny it is. People, okay, so we have a video on our channel. We have a video on our channel. And I don't remember what it's about, but it's a Shador video. And it's got, our videos usually do 5,000 to 10,000 views on our uploads. Let me just make sure I get the number right. I think this Shador video's got like 26,000 views.
How popular is Shador Sanders in the NFL already?
And I mean, just an avalanche of hundreds of comments.
26,447 views with 244 comments. And I also would point out, just for all the hyenas out there, 97.6% viewers liked it on 800 likes. Just saying.
I just don't understand why people are so gaped over that story.
Gaped.
Like, I don't get it. I could be wrong. Rock and Rant said, yeah, Shedeur sucks. Well, you know what?
Yeah, Garbo, dude.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how any team would win with him, and, you know.
It is what it is.
You know, that's not.
Must be the chain, you know.
That's not what he said. He actually said, remember, I was never hating on Shedeur, you know. It's fine.
Damn.
Oh man, it is. Does that story surprise you guys? Real quick, and then we got to get to Prize Picks, but because the Cubs game is going to start here in a minute. Does that surprise you guys how much heat there was on Shedeur? I kind of think it was. I kind of think I was surprised by that. All right, how badly are the Cubs going to lose tonight? My guy Shota
on the bench.
Here's the problem.
Here's the deal.
The Cubs don't spend money. So we've got Matt Boyd going against the Gigantes tonight at Wrigley Field. And listen, I'm not somebody who's a pessimist, but the Cubs are in real trouble because Shota's on the DL with a hamstring strain, which is like saying a pitcher has forearm tendonitis.
Yeah, forearm tendonitis is a real problem, you know. Matt Boyd, six pitcher strikeouts. I'm going to say less on that. And then I think if we go total bases for the Chicago Cubs, well, that's a tough one. I don't like anybody in the Cubs lineup tonight. I could be wrong. Ian Happ's half a total base. What are some of Happer's numbers? Half a double, 7-hitter fantasy. We could do half a single. We'll do that. We'll go more. We'll do one there. And then you're really not taking PCA.
Shut up. How about PCA?
You're a homer is the first part.
Why would I take PCA? Ask yourself that.
Dude.
But at some point, that's going away.
Well, that's not tonight, dude.
Right? You don't think that's okay?
No, because he's not a home run hitter per se. He's got that kind of power, but he's more of a doubles, line drive kind of guy.
Okay, here's what I got for the Cubs Giants tonight. Matthew Boyd, less than 6 strikeouts. Ian Happ, more than a single. And Patrick Bailey, the catcher for the Giants, half a total base. We're doing 20 to win 45. Sex will be had.
Dude, I'm going in on this one.
Stop it.
You ready?
No.
So I got the 10% MLB payout boost that Prize Picks is offering this evening.
Oh, okay.
Number one.
I like that.
So my winnings will be boosted if I win, which is not a high probability. But anyway, Bobby Witt Jr., more than 5.5 hits, runs, and RBIs on a demon against the Chicago White Sox. PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, more than 2.5 total bases on a demon. And the Giants starter, Landon Rupp, for more than 5.5 hits allowed against the Cubs. Cubs have been hitting well. On a flex play, it's $20 to win $572 with 3 demons with the 10% bump. So I'm going for that.
Now you're making me totally change my opinion. All right, I'll do PCA.
Did you take the bump?
I did.
Okay. Good.
PCA for half a home run. Nah, I'm fine.
Nah, not in San Francisco.
How about a run? They're not in San Francisco, and they're in Chicago, I thought. How about, is it at home?
It is at home. You're right.
Pissing me off.
Sorry.
Pissing me off.
Sorry, it's my bad.
Okay, PCA to score a run tonight. How about strikeouts? I got to go less on Matthew Boyd. I'm staying less on Boyd. And then first inning runs allowed. God, this is a mistake. First inning runs allowed. Cubs are not available in that one. I love that one. I need one more.
Monty.
Hey, Monty. Hits, runs, and RBIs. Where's Ian Happ? Give me hits, runs, and RBIs with Happer. Dansby's been hot lately.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, am I too late?
Hurry up, Monty.
Where's Dan? There's Dansby right there. I am going to go 1.5 for Dansby. Dansby more. Okay. Finalized lineup. Oh, you pricks.
What happened?
You can't have 3 from the same team. I forgot about
being
that.
a casual now.
Where is no, not Goldie. Trent Grisham, Austin Wells, Volpe, Aaron Judge, more. Let's go, Aaron. Unclick. More. All right. Demon, 3.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I'm going more. Let's do it. I'm going more. Pimp's gonna pimp, please. Hello. Okay. Finalized lineup. Flex play. 20 to win 154. Boom. Diamond cutters.
Okay,
there we go, boys. Those are your prize picks for tonight. Open up a new prize picks account. Download the prize picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5. They'll give you 50 more instantly when you use Monty as a promo code to open up a new prize picks account. Knicks are about to tip off. Can the Knicks win an NBA championship, or am I just living a pipe dream? Let's talk NBA playoffs next.
Yo, you think Dallas' power forward gonna drop 30 tomorrow?
Boy, you tripping.
Did you see his mom made a post about going to the game?
What? Hold up. His mama gonna be there?
He's been averaging like 34 points a game when she's there.
At least 40 when she be on that Jumbotron.
He don't like to let his mama down.
Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Cash in on your sports fandom with Prize Picks.
Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy app of the Monty Show. Make sure that you download the app, use the promo code Monty, open up a new Prize Picks account. Yes, hit the like button. Thank you. Calford gifts 20 Monty Show memberships.
Okay, let's go over here. There we go.
Go, Calford. Appreciate that. Calford said Prize Picks money. Really? You're winning on Prize Picks. I like it.
Nice, dude.
Absolutely love it. Calford spending that cheddar. Replica says pick any hitter on the Texas Rangers, bet the under on their prop total, and watch how fast you get rich. Bitter party of one. Bummer, dude. I'm a Cubs fan, diehard Cubs season ticket holder, both in spring and at Wrigley. It's so early. We're in first place. Trust me, June's going to be here. 10 games out. Can't get anybody out. Dude, we'll be there, right? We will be there. Look at that. Larry McDonald, breaking news. The Ravens cut Justin Tucker.
What?
I can't believe that.
Dude, are you serious right now? 8-time Pro Bowler?
I can't believe that.
What?
We talked about that earlier, but thank you for just tuning in. Kidding. Baby Dion is going to make a lot of teams regret letting him slide. Okay. Johnny Gonzalez, 17 NFL team owners' collective opinion on Shedeur is an African-American QB will never pay off for your franchise. No, I don't think that's the case. I don't think so. Backwoods Sexy Mike Smith. Anyone watching new series Mobland?
Yes. It's excellent.
Good stuff with Pierce Brosnan, Tom Hardy, Patty Considine, Jeff Bell, and Helen Mirren.
Yes.
My wife, we watched The Pit, the emergency room series. We got through that, and I was like, let's put on Mobland. Jake's raving about it. He says he watches it naked with baby oil in a Diddy party. It's so good.
Yeah, boy.
And so I was like, let's do it. She's like, no, I want to watch ER.
Come on.
So we wound up watching ER reruns.
Bruh.
Dude, ER is a crazy show. Crazy show. You know. Brandon Butler, Brown signed Justin Tucker, collect full washcloth sets. There you go. There you go.
Full linens.
Cougs Johnson says no way. You know, which is fine. All right, let's get into the NBA playoffs right here on the Monty Show. Where are you guys at on the Knicks? Can the Knicks win the whole damn thing. I think they can. And I think Detroit took them to the limit. No question about that. I think we all had questions about could the New York Knicks finish. But what I saw out of Jalen Brunson and the way that he closed that game in that series, that's something special. That is, you cannot defend that. You cannot quantify that. To send a defender almost tumbling to hit a step back three, that's the stuff of legends. The New York Knicks have that it factor, and its name is Jalen Brunson. When that team was struggling, Jalen Brunson didn't have the ball. Now, is there going to be an opponent that can shut down Jalen Brunson? Absolutely. There's no question about that. But the thing that I would ask you, how many teams left in the East? And that includes the Boston Celtics, who are playing the New York Knicks starting in about 10 minutes. I love the Knicks in this series, Jake. Would you be surprised if the Celtics go down to the Knicks?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I think that the thing you can't get away from with the Knicks is the Pistons, they turned what should have been a relatively straightforward series for the Knicks into a long series, played too many games against the Pistons. Like, I just felt like the Knicks, didn't put them away when they should have earlier in the series. And I think that, you look at the Celtics and they're not going to make the mistakes the Pistons made. They're not going to be, they're not going to give you those free passes when the ball should go in. So I think that's the hard part is, as I've said for weeks on this show, I still think Boston's the best team in the East until they're not. I think, you got to prove. If I said to you, do you really think the Knicks are going to beat the Celtics 4 out of the next 7 games? I don't think anybody would say yes to that confidently anyway. I think that that's a real toss-up. Now, I think, the Knicks, they can do a lot of good things. They have a lot of different ways to win. They're very physical. I feel like they have the ingredients they need to beat the Celtics, but we've never seen them execute and actually get the job done and actually put a good team away. That's the part where I say, yeah, you won a series, but it was the Pistons, and now you're playing a much better team, a deeper team, a more cohesive team, a team that's been here before, a team that's not intimidated by the moment at all. That's where I say I would be surprised if the Celtics went home against the Knicks. I think that the more surprising outcome would be the Knicks somehow winning this series in 6 games. I think that would be really surprising. And if that happens, then who's to say? I mean, it really depends on how the rest of the bracket shakes out, if you will, as to whether they could win a championship. But I think they got to prove they can beat a team the quality of the Celtics.
Yeah, and I feel like I look at some of the numbers for that Knicks roster. Obviously, this is a pretty balanced Knicks roster. I mean, Jalen's averaging 31.5 points, right? That's your stud. But you got Cat at 19, OG Anunoby at 17, Bridges at 16, and I think Bridges has hit some of the biggest three-pointers in this postseason yet. I mean, and I know it's very early in the postseason, but you look at what Mikal Bridges brings them defensively, and some of those clutch threes on the handoffs, him and Jalen Brunson, Bridges and Brunson have this unbelievable chemistry in tight spaces that I think is a real difference maker against a team like Boston, because Jaylen Brown can't guard both of them. And I think that you're going to have to see how healthy is Jason Tatum, because I think that's going to be a big storyline. But Josh Hart's going to have to step up in this series and score more points. And when you look at the rebound numbers, somebody else is going to have to push 10 rebounds other than Karl Anthony Towns, because I think that is a huge gap. You look at the bench, you're getting nothing out of Mitchell Robinson on a consistent, regular basis. And I think if this Knicks team is going to go deep and far in the playoffs, they're going to have to get better rebounding, because you cannot give Boston second chance opportunities. And Cat, phenomenal rebounder. Josh Hart, phenomenal rebounder. Somebody else is going to have to really bump up their rebound numbers. And I just don't know who that is, because I do worry about their bench depth a little bit. I don't love what we're seeing out of Miles McBride right now. I thought he was ice cold in that first round. I mean, just not great. And shooting 26% from three, that's not going to be good enough on 3 threes a game. Shooting 26%. Now, do we think that that's going to be 48% on 4 threes like Cat? No, but I'd love to see him in the 30%. Because I think when you look at Mikal Bridges hitting 32.5% on 6 threes a game, dude, that's difference making money right there. Now, the only problem with that is you would expect those numbers to come down because it's one of the best defensive teams in the NBA in the Boston Celtics.
100%. And I think the guy you're pointing to as far as rebounding and like just upping the contribution is OG Anunoby. I think that the guy has talent for days. I think that there are a lot of times he doesn't see the ball enough just because of the way the system works and, how these games are going. But, to average less than 5 boards a game on the season is definitely a little light in my opinion. And I think in the playoffs, the one thing you're going to see against this Celtics team is they're going to each and every game read what you're doing. They're going to evaluate that game in the first 5 to 7 minutes, and then they're going to attack the things you're not doing well that night. And I think that's what makes them hard to stop. If you think about, the Knicks tend to get a little stagnant. Sometimes they tend to get a little bit stale on offense and the ball doesn't move the way it should and the screens aren't as good and they just get a little bit undisciplined. And I think that's the next step in their development as a team. You need to play really consistent, disciplined basketball to beat good teams. And I'm not saying the Celtics are unbeatable. They are certainly beatable. But I often wonder with the Knicks, like, all right, hey, there's that fire first quarter start. All right, hey, there's the run in the second quarter by the Pistons. How are the Knicks going to respond? And it's really telling, at least in my opinion, that it took a Brunson game winner and a Savage game winner at that. Give dude credit. But it took a game winner for you to close that series out in what should have been a 6-gamer at most by most people's
lack of quality depth.
Yeah. So,
and I think Tibbs is a terrible coach. That's just my opinion. Is Boston 8.5 better than the Knicks with a questionable Tatum? That feels like a moneymaker's line.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a 4-point game. I could see a 3.5-point line. 8.5, that feels heavy-handed.
Yeah, well, you're seeing 8.5 because of the scores in the Pistons series. I mean, listen to these scores. Like game 1, 123, 112 was a win. Game 2, you lost 194. Game 3 was 118, 116. All right, so 2 points there. Game 5 was 94, 93. You lost game 6, 106, 103. And then you won game 7, 116, 113. So what the boys in Vegas are saying is, hey, against lesser competition, you barely won by a possession. So against the Celtics, we're definitely not favoring you. And this Celtics team needs to be respected for what they've done the last several postseasons. So, yeah, I would say it's a gambler's line, but I also think that the Knicks have earned that line.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we get through this series. I think the Knicks, obviously, I know I'm the master of the obvious. I think the Knicks have to win one of these first 2 games. It is not optional. It's what the Pacers did to the Cavs last night. I think it is vitally important that if you are the Knicks, if you want to go back to the Garden, which is going to absolutely be thunderstruck, I think that place is going to be off the chain. For a Boston, New York, Celtics, Knicks series, good night. You've got to win one of these 2 games to give yourself a chance because magic happens at the Garden, right? So if you can steal home court advantage, because once we get deeper, every round from here out,
yes,
there's not a series until the home team loses.
Yes.
That's when you have a series. So I think this is a huge night for Jalen Brunson. He's been there. He's done that. I think this is a big, big night to see how they respond.
Absolutely.
And I'm very curious to see what that looks like.
Yeah, and I'm, if you lose this series, if you're the Knicks, I don't know if Tibbs gets fired. Probably should be, but you spent a lot on this roster. How long are you going to spend with Tibbs here? I definitely think if they had lost to the Pistons, he'd have been fired the next day. Honestly, I think that would have been the case, but they didn't. So, let's just see. I think we need to see how game 1 plays out. Obviously, we need to understand, where is this Boston team at? Are we getting I think the biggest X factor in the whole series is Derek White. If Derek White's going to give him 15, 20, this series isn't even going to be close. If Derek White is a 10-point player and mostly a defensive contributor, then I think you've got a much closer game on your hands. But I guess I don't trust the Knicks to do what they need to do 9 out of 10 times. I think too often we've got this situation where it's Jalen Brunson trying to find someone moving around in the offense who just isn't moving around, and he winds up trying to just get to the line or create his own shot.
I just don't think – the other thing that worries me is I don't think Karl Anthony Towns – I want him to play on the block in this series. I really want him to play on the block, and I just don't think he wants to do that. I think he wants to be a mobile, agile big man who shoots threes. And I think this Boston team – if you had a monster in the middle, this Boston team is soft.
Yeah.
I mean, and that has to be a place where you exploit. You have to exploit them, in my opinion. Indiana shocks the Cleveland Cavaliers. Is this Donovan Mitchell all over again? Jake, where do you come down? Is Donovan Mitchell a big-time player?
Yeah, I mean, I think Don is a big-time player. I think that Donovan Mitchell is someone who, obviously has had multiple chances. Obviously, I think it's a little unfair to hold the Utah stuff against him. We were having conversations with folks when we were golfing the other day, talking about how, people are pissed that Ryan Smith tore that team down. But ultimately, Donovan Mitchell and company didn't win a championship. And I think that, Donovan Mitchell as a Cavalier has been nothing short of sensational. I think he deserves a lot of credit. At the same time, I think that, for him in his career, he's got to prove that he can win on the big stage, man. I mean, that's what separates your supermax player, if you will, your top player from, a good player who sometimes wins in the postseason and oftentimes has his team positioned for the playoffs, but just never quite can seem to get over the hump. And I feel like, for Donovan, losing that game last night, like that can't happen and it shouldn't happen. Yet here we are once again talking about the Indiana Pacers stealing home court advantage from someone. And it just seemed very unnecessary. I felt like he didn't show up.
Is it his fault? I mean, he did score 33.
It's not his. When I say he didn't show up, like the Cavs didn't handle business. Like Donovan is putting out. There's no question about it. Donovan Mitchell is doing everything you need him to do. Like I don't put that on Donovan at all. But there is definitely there's no getting away from it, dude. The narrative around Donovan Mitchell is that he's a great individual scorer who his teams don't win. That's the problem. How many Western Conference Finals did the Jazz go to and just couldn't get the job done?
I think one, they missed Darius Garland. I mean, that injury is a big injury. It's a hyperextended toe?
Yeah.
They miss him significantly. But man, they're showing the Jalen Brunson move
dude, he broke him off, bro. God. He broke him off.
But I look at some of the numbers on the Cavs, and you can't shoot 24% from the 3-point stripe. Donovan was 1 of 11.
Yeah.
That's not good enough from a big time player. They had nobody make more than 2 threes. I mean, you look at the guys that put up numbers: Donovan Mitchell, Ty Jerome, and Evan Mobley. Jared Allen, 12 points, but only 5 rebounds. If you're Indiana in this series, I mean, you got to feel pretty good that you tied. It was a push on rebounds, right? That Miles Turner gives you 13 and 11 and outplayed Jared Allen. That all of your, 4 out of your 5 starters gave you, plus 15 points. Tyrese had 22. His dad was not courtside. Nebhart gave you 23. Nesmith and Siakam had 17. And Miles Turner, the low man, at 13. But he also kicked in 11 boards, and you look at the 2 block shots, the 3 steals, the dime, you're okay with the 13 points because he filled up every stat on the box score, right? So I think it's one of those things where if you are Cleveland, you've got to win certain matchups. And I think Jared Allen's got to win his matchup here. I don't think there's any question that it's a matter of who shows up for Cleveland without Darius Garland.
Yes.
That I think is the biggest deal. So we'll see. Knicks get the first bucket. 2-0 Knicks over the Celtics. That game is now underway. I love the Knicks in this series. I think the tenacity, if Josh Hart wins the matchup with Jaylen Brown, which he is capable of doing, And look at Mikal Bridges guarding. Oh, and Mikal Bridges is hurt. Oh, that's terrible news. Is it? Yeah, he is limping around. How bad is that going to be? They're going to call a timeout. Oh, man, that's terrible. He really did a great job guarding Kristaps Porzingis and now is limping up the floor. Oh, that would be a killer.
See. We'll see what happens with it.
But that injury leads to a wide open 3-point look that Boston knocks down.
Yep.
That's the thing that worries you. But you look at the matchups in this series. Here's Karl Anthony Towns on Tatum, and he easily goes by him and misses the layup. Wow.
Because he's soft.
It's exactly what I was talking about, you guys. Like it's one of those things where you just can't have that. He's got to make that layup or dunk that ball.
Yep.
So I think that's sick. Oh, don't even get me started here. Anyway, no play-by-play on the Monty Show.
Yeah.
You know. So somebody sent me a text message saying, check your DMs. I go over to Twitter and Oak State James, I honestly, dude, I don't give a rat's ass what you're doing at TCU. I don't care. You're an Oak State fan. Please, who cares? You cannot be I'm so tired of the soft sports fan. So your team sucks. Let's go root for TCU. That's what I'm going to punch you into.
Or Baylor or the Chiefs or the Cowboys.
That's exactly right there why I never look at my notifications on Twitter. I refuse to do it.
Yeah.
I refuse to do it. And I hate it. That's how much I just am not I am not a fan. No. My friend's like, did you look at my DM? No.
I know.
didn't.
I know. You could just comment that,
because X is a wasteland.
You could just comment.
It's fine. Best team left in the NBA playoffs, not named James Harden. How on earth did you guys see what Harden did? I'm sure you did, and I'm sorry if this is going to be redundant. How bad was Fat Ass on what was that, Saturday, I guess? Yeah, Saturday in Game 7. They lose by 19 to Denver. Here's Larden's line. 35 minutes, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 8. He took 8 shots in 35 minutes. 2 of 2 from the stripe, 5 rebounds, 13 dimes, 7 points. If you're driving, please put your hands at 10 and 2. Minus 29.
Maybe put the fat suit back on, dude.
In a Game 7, Larden was minus 29.
Not a championship caliber player.
That's unbelievable. Minus 29. And Jaylen Brown's already bitching at the officials.
What'd you expect?
5-4, Boston over the Knicks, 9:32. That's unbelievable. They lost by 19 and you were a minus 29. That hurts. That absolutely hurts.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, let's get some of your comments in here. Stadium Guy James, Donovan Mitchell was 1 of 11 from 3-point line. That is not acceptable in the playoffs.
Nope.
Unless you're a TCU.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. I'm a jerk. I should stop. Backwoods, sexy Mike Smith. Play on the bad stereotypes to keep people away. Okay. I don't know what that conversation's about. Capazzo, what? Donnie Spida Mitchell lost a home game? Saying ain't so. Said every Jazz fan.
It's facts, bro.
I think Jazz fans love that. Big Blue Horses, is James Harden truly elite or just really good?
Nah, he's just really good.
I would agree with that. Chuck B. Hello, Chuck B.
Hey, Chuck.
Black Desert Resort Golf on full display this weekend. Need more South Utah golf on TV. I'm never going to disagree with that. I think Southern Utah, the Jeezy, has some of the
Jeezy.
That Copper Rock is still not a widely known golf destination is crazy. I think Black Desert is great. The average golfer, I think you can't play it. I think it's very difficult. It's a very difficult course. But to see the LPGA in St. George this weekend, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It was nice this weekend. We actually got back on the grind up in Park City at Park City Municipal, which is, I still think, one of the most underrated courses in Utah. I love Park City Municipal Golf.
Yeah.
I do. Are you a fan? You're not.
Yeah, I like it.
Played a 4-hour round of 18 holes.
Yeah, nice pace.
In 4 hours.
Yeah.
Hit my mini driver 312 yards. How do you like that? Jake, our good friends at TaylorMade sent us the R7 quad mini driver. And Jake is adopting it as his friend.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really solid. I think it does exactly what it's supposed to do. I mean, obviously, with any new club, you have to swing it a lot, hit a lot of balls.
It's a little whippy. The shaft is not.
Yeah, the hard part is that, we're fitted to our PXG club, so there's a certain feel there. And so you get a stock setup, with the TaylorMade R7 quad mini driver, and it just feels different. So like everything from the handle is a little bit skinnier to, the shaft is whippy to the way the head is set up. Like it's just a different club, but you get a hold of one and it goes. And I think it's a great club. I think, I think it does what you want it to do. I think, I hit one that wasn't I hit a mini driver, that I didn't want to go 300. And it didn't. Went 290.
Look what showed up today.
Yeah, it's pretty.
This is the Victory Tour or the Victory Pro 4, the Scotty Scheffler shoe. And it's outrageous. It is everything that you want in a golf shoe. It's beautiful. It's got a lovely, like the tongue embroidery is absolutely beautiful. Like that's a gorgeous shoe right there. That is. And it looks incredibly comfortable.
Yeah.
It looks really, really good. 9 spike. The iridescent green is tough.
It's beautiful.
That is, have you seen this yet? Have you held it?
No.
Yeah, it's a good looking shoe.
Mine shows up tomorrow.
It's a good looking shoe. I also got it in black, by the way. So
the bottom of this shoe is what I truly love. This wave kind of. And I didn't realize it's actually abrasive. So it does help.
Oh, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But, boy, this black. See, I wear a lot of darker colors, so I needed a black. Here's the problem, though. Do you notice a difference? This is a wide shoe. They only sell this in wide, and I do not have a wide foot. I don't really notice a difference in the two shoes. Do you notice much of a difference?
Not a huge difference.
But you notice a difference.
Just a little bit. I mean, and that's not a huge difference, no.
It's supposedly a 1/4 inch. We'll see. I haven't put either one on, obviously.
Yeah.
So the UPS guy just dropped them off at the studio. But that is...
But I really like this lunar design on the heel. I think that's what really helps this shoe be comfortable. Is that they give you a lot of cushion in this shoe, which is what I'm really excited about.
Is it air, though? I don't think it's air.
No, it's not air.
I think it's just foam.
Foam. But Scotty said, I was watching a video, this cleat on the top of the toe is apparently Scotty Scheffler's doing.
Yes.
Like it's not the standard, this is not a standard spike setup.
No, it would not be on the toe. So I'm really excited to play it this weekend. Really hoping I find my driver swing. My driver swing is a mess right now. I got to be honest. I'm so busy, and I'm about to get more busy off the course. That's a beautiful shoe. Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's worth everything that I think. It's $150 shoe, and I think it's worth it all.
Yeah,
like I am. When are you getting yours?
Tomorrow.
So we'll play him Friday night.
Yeah.
Our typical Friday night 9. Yeah, that's a good looking shoe. What'd you say now?
I lost my train of thought.
That shoe is sexy, dude.
Yeah, it's a good looking shoe.
That shoe is sexy.
Oh, I was going to say the thing with Nike golf shoes is you can put a lot of miles on them. They hold up really well.
You can. Yeah. I think, what do I wear now? I think right now, not you guys probably give a rat's ass what golf shoe I wear. I either wear a Jordan 1 non-spike. Oh, yeah, like the Jordan 6s I have.
The 9s.
The 5 you got me for Christmas that one year, or my birthday, I guess it was. That's the one that really stands out to me. But
yeah,
I'm excited about this shoe. I need another golf shoe like a hole in the head. I got to be honest with you. Johnny Gonzalez, simple theme, 2 colors, 2 shakes, 2 holes. That's what I'm saying,
dude. I mean, that's what this show's about,
That's what I'm saying. Those Smiling Bob commercials were the best.
Hey, 2 holes.
Okay. I don't get the whole sneakerhead thing, but if you like it, go for it. Dude, I have 200 pairs of shoes. I like it. I've stopped buying it, though. I've stopped buying it. All right, couple more things we need to get to today. Where are you at with the Belichick thing, Jake? Bill Belichick says he's hiring an outside PR firm. Good move or bad move?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a necessary move. I think that, if you listen to the show on Thursday, we had our disagreement about Jordan Hudson and her involvement and motive and everything like that. But, the thing you're not going to get away from with her is that she's damaged him a little bit. I mean, I don't think there's any getting away from the way that interview was handled or the optics of how it was handled. We're not great. Obviously, they just weren't. And I think that, the story where she allegedly gets involved to prevent Hard Knocks coming into UNC, that's also not great either. So I think that, Bill Belichick, and this is my main point last week, Bill Belichick is someone who has always been a control freak, has always been, always represented himself well, has always had a certain style, a brand, a way he goes about things. And I always just felt like this was very out of character, how this whole thing was going. Not that, having a girlfriend per se is out of character, but just that she was so involved and so in control and, like making all these decisions that, weren't representing the hoodie very well. And so, yeah, I do think it's a good idea. I do think that you should have, if you're on Bill Belichick's level with the money you've made and the career you've had and everything you've done, you should have a professional PR team. With all due respect, your girlfriend should not be your PR team. You should have a professional group of people that handle this stuff for you and make sure that you are represented the best way you can be given the situation. So,
and you're saying she clearly is not doing that.
Yeah, I just don't think there's a way that anybody could deduce that she's doing that based on what's happened here. And if you're the person that's believing what Bill put out in the statement about the CBS interview, where it's like, we had a nice 35-minute cordial conversation and just the way it was cut. And all I have to say is if you're releasing statements about how it was cut, there clearly was an issue. And you're not getting away from the fact that you guys showed up the way you did, handled the interview the way you did. Like, I don't know, man. I just think that there are people in this world who have done enough and won enough and are elite enough at their given profession where you need to have certain things in place. Like, you have an agent, you have a publicist team, you have professionals doing what they do.
But I want to play this Dunkin' commercial because I'm stunned. Look at the people in the commercial and see if you can find Jordan Hudson.
Battle of the coffee brand bands. Welcome to Java Jam. Battle of the coffee brand bands.
This ain't the Dunkings. Where the hell are Matt and Tom?
Forget them suckers. Matt Damon and Tom Brady don't have the heart of a champion. We got a new squad, Dunkings sequel. Affleck's and Belichick. Dunkings! A little more spirit on the, on the charge next time. All right. We got a fourth Dunking, too, coming. Oh, my God.
Hey, man.
Is that coffee? What are you doing in there?
I'm just trying to find the character.
We got to battle the barista buds.
I'm all in for Duncan.
You should have paid for Matt.
I told you that. Dunking! About to get roasted!
Like a dark seasonal roast with coriander and slight balsamic drizzle.
Sounds like what's in my garbage disposal.
See you, coach. How much to wait a half hour to get my name spelled wrong on the cup?
Nobody wants a goat milk double half calf soy milk cap. You could just brew it. It's beans and water.
Oh, damn. Listen, Dunkin's for all of yous. America runs on Dunkin'.
She's all up in that commercial. I mean, and reportedly, she forced her way in that commercial.
Yeah, that's what's being reported.
She reportedly,
yeah.
That's why I said reportedly, Jake.
Yeah.
Reportedly, Jordan Hudson forced her way, demanded that she have a role in that commercial. It's stuff like that that just smacks of unprofessionalism, difficult to work with. Can't do that. So Bill Belichick is allegedly engaging the former Chicago Bears PR guy, a Chicago former Bear PR guy who's now a PR guru, to represent him in all things PR. And I think it's high time. It's the right thing to do. It is what we talked about. I think it's disrespectful to North Carolina. You know what I think? I think it's disrespectful to Bill's legacy, to his brand. When you have her now killing Hard Knocks, allegedly, being a pain in the ass, allegedly, for CBS News, forcing her way, allegedly, into a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. It just feels like the allegedlys never stop.
Yeah. And it feels like it's always a problem. And I think that, you know, I just think that Bill Belichick deserves better, man, with all due respect. Like, I think that I'm not going to pretend to understand where Bill Belichick is mentally with all of this. I don't know, you know, I don't know what this relationship is for him. If it's a romantic thing and they actually are in love, or if it's some type of...
Why do you continue to question that?
Because
you don't think he's petting the kitty?
No, I do, bro.
I said, hey man, I said petting the kitty.
Right. I know.
Can nothing?
No.
Wow. Meow. Right. Meow. Can I get something right? Meow for petting the kitty.
No.
Okay.
No.
My bad.
You know, I try.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. No. I think it's very interesting the way this dynamic is played out. I think it is there's a lot of damage done to him. And I don't know that but this whole thing here about fire bill, get out of here. Do you want to demand she not be around? Okay, I'm good with that. Do you want to say, hey, she can't be, officially, because he's having staff copy her allegedly on any email sent to him at North Carolina. Any North Carolina email has to have her copied on it. Do you want to say, okay, we're not going to do that? We're going to be, I don't know, a normal football department and not talk through your girlfriend? Okay, I'm down with that. Firing Bill Belichick over this.
Like, don't you agree that's weird?
That is very strange.
I'm not saying he should be fired. I agree he should not be fired. But I just think that this whole dynamic of, like, that email thing is a great example of what I mean when I say I don't have a great grip on, like, what this really is for Bill. Like, you know how, like, when you can look at a relationship and like, hey, these two people are in love, like, everything's great. Like, I don't really get that vibe from these two. And maybe I'm wrong. I would be happy to be wrong, dude. Like, I want it to be happily ever after, but it's hard for me to get there when you have all these just oddball dynamics at play, dude. Like whether it's that she's, or was allegedly his PR person, now he's shifting, or like her being on the field constantly. Like, I understand, hey, like, your wife can come on the field, or your girlfriend comes on the field after practice is over, or maybe here, like, but all the time, like,
and what happens when they lose?
Yeah.
What happens if you have a 4-win season this year? Then what?
Guess Jordan's staying home, huh?
And I agree that the ACC is not exactly the bastion of great football at this point in time.
Yeah.
But you're mid-table in the ACC, right? So you're not going to be elite. Does Bill change that? Well, I mean, he's got a phenomenal staff. A guy like Michael Lombardi, as his GM, that's huge. But I have a real issue with what's going to happen. All this is fine until you don't win games.
Right.
All this is fine until the NIL money disappears. Right. All this is fine until Jordan doesn't want Bill doing PR that doesn't include her.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Because I got news for you, kid. It's May. You've got a month maybe left, and then we're into football season. So,
and that's why I say, like, I think that's a great point. Let's take the winning and losing portion out of it. What does this look like in the middle of football season? In the heat of it, right?
It looks like not good if this continues.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's very reasonable and smart by him to do what people are calling benching her from the PR team. Just changing that, and hopefully that fixes it. But I just have always felt like this is very out of character, generally speaking. You want to tell me, hey, he leaves the Patriots, gets a girlfriend, that's all cool. I have no problem with that. But the way, once you get him back in a coaching role and all this is still going on, that's just flat out weird to me as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, but I think you have to look at Mikael Schwinger. His comment is good. Gotta admit the boots on the field are hot. I mean, who's not, getting there 21 times a month to
macaque?
I'm not. Although I will say, I believe I've surpassed 21 times a month. You know.
Yeah, boy.
But I mean, there's no doubt she's an attractive gal.
Right.
That's never been the question. Why are her past two boyfriends older than your mom's uncle's cousin's grandfather, twice removed on your father's side? That seems pretty ancient to me, right? Like her past two, because you say she doesn't have sex.
I don't say that.
Okay.
I don't say that.
You say that she doesn't have sex with senior citizens or those qualified for Medicaid or Medicare, which used to be a thing in this country, but it's not anymore. My point is, listen, if you're old enough to draw Social Security, she's probably about that companionship. Is that what you're just?
I think we have no idea what this relationship is absolutely about.
You are absolutely convinced
that they are not in love.
That he is not fishing in her pond.
No. It's the exact opposite. All the people saying that these two are in love and it's happily ever after.
So he's parked in her garage, in your opinion. Well, that changed.
Dude.
It felt like
it
you
did
were.
not change.
It felt like you were saying that
Remember the epic meltdown we had over the real estate, and I was saying she did things, and it's allegedly and all this. My point has always been they're not in love. You would never find Buddy in a yellow and black Columbia jacket with a straw hat on the beach.
This is a real picture. This is where they met.
Yeah. Okay.
This is where they met.
What happened to the airplane story, dude?
I don't know. I just see deductive logic. I use deductive logic.
Yeah.
And
she's a solution-based company trying to get paid. We get it, dude. We get it.
I mean, and then, emails and stuff.
Like, the ball's on you to do this. Do you understand what this is, bro? Like, you're releasing private communication.
I love the scumbag Roberts comment. That's cool and all, but how did y'all meet? Like, that's phenomenal. That's who we are.
What we care about.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. I mean, I would too.
It has, and again, for the record,
it's elder abuse. God damn it!
No,
she doesn't feed him mucilix.
I don't have any problem if dude needs to get to his 21 times a month through her. No problem, bro.
Look, if old liver spots wants to feel young once a month, hey,
I have no problem.
Who is Jordan Hudson to stand in his way?
Yeah, dude, no problem with it. But you lose me when she becomes your
muse.
Yeah, your PR firm and your creative muse.
Your muse.
And apparently she's dressing you in an embarrassing fashion for the CBS interview.
What?
Like, what are we doing, bro?
Yeah, some people agreed with me that he shouldn't have been wearing a torn sweatshirt.
No.
She's got them crazy eyes.
She does.
Does she really?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, but are you looking at her eyes?
Not in that dress, if that's what that is.
Let's probably move on from that comment.
You don't have to get all choked up, dude. I mean, it really is,
Okay. Capazzo, you might be right. Whoa, what did Capazzo say? Hang on. Hang on. Rock and Rant. Her playlist is 100 songs long, and every single song is Gold Digger by Kanye.
Damn,
God
dog.
damn.
I mean, hey, you're not wrong.
ACC Commissioner Gumby, she's mid. Well, I would agree the midriff is not a bad thing. That's what you when you said mid, okay. I could be confused. I find. Backwoods, Mike Smith, LOL, ACC West Coast Commissioner Gumby, don't feed the animals. Capazzo, I agree. She was an escort that got those hooks into the mill. Stop.
She's working, dog.
Stop.
She's working. You know what I mean?
Stop. And I've seen the photos. He got her hook in her. And
Anita Dick and me.
Stuff in the hook.
You perhaps play a little game called Just a Tip.
You're going to hell. Thankfully, it's not real. My point is, you guys don't think there's any chance that this is, even though she has a track record of dating,
That's precisely why it's not, dude.
Nursing home
she
dudes.
Has dated older bros, and he's next in line.
Are you lonely? Yeah. Okay, but why don't we head over to the nursing home? We can find a dude. Do you really think she only dates based on the net worth?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I'm not ready to say that. I mean, I don't disagree with you, but
The downstairs kitty cat is not yours to have, okay?
It's Bill's to have, and I think he's had it.
Kitty cat juices is not all over the place.
You're so cold-blooded. Oak St. James, who is the marriage, like guru on this show.
Hell no.
He's the same guy that gave us advice. Don't tell your wife she's hot. Say in public she's not. That's the key to a strong relationship.
Hell out of here with that.
I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. It's James knows gold digger. He knows the words. Boyd Lake, she's mid. You mean like Sydney Sweeney? Oh God, don't go there. Don't go there. Certain millennials on the set are going to lose their mind.
Dude.
Macaque.
It's fine. And okay. Rock and Rant. Alexa, give me an example of crisis PR without mentioning Jordan rules. Exactly right. Mikkel Schwinger. Honestly, I'm assuming daddy issues almost a lot.
Yeah.
So you think that her dad was like Belichick's age? She fell in love with her dad, then he died, so she went and found another daddy.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? I'll wait. Go ahead. Guy, that's one of the best drops we have.
I'm not your daddy.
Yes, you are. Anyway, I think it's a great. I do. Fat Jesus, who actually is the true king of dating advice on this show. He told Jake to break up with her by text, and so Jake did.
I listened.
True love doesn't exist. Let them have at it. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but that's my point.
Look, you want to field a football team? Get after it, kid.
With them getting after it, dude. But don't sit here and convince me that they're going to be happily ever after and she's going to marry him and everything's going to be awesome.
I just don't know how you can say that she's not attracted to him. I don't know how you can't say that.
Yeah, was it the glass cutters pictured here?
Like, how can you say she's not wanting to hit that?
I don't get down like that.
I think you do, sweetie. Look at his nipples.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
That's all I'm saying.
I guess
we've gone too far with this, I think. Have we gone I think we've gone too far with this now. I feel awkward. The real question is, will Bill break up with Jordan via text?
Yeah, it's a legitimate question, dude.
Johnny Gonzalez, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's a legitimate question, bro.
Mikkel Schwinger, bad relationships with their own pops. Oh, I'm going to make it good with you, Billy boy. Oh, you're a bad daddy.
Wow. Wow, dude.
I just thought that you would appreciate me treating you like an adult.
Oh, there was some goodness. I saw Accountant 2 over the weekend. If you like The Accountant 2 was good. My wife actually liked it. You know what ruined the movie, though? We only ate half the bucket of popcorn.
Vexes me.
I don't know why, but I'm telling you, the stadium guy, James, how is it that Bill was not wearing a North Carolina hoodie? Wear the school colors. Well, and we've said that.
Well, his
and we
great
were saying
PR
that.
firm guided him, Yeah. I mean, it's just
his
just
PR person and stuff. Since none of us are in the know on their ship, why waste time in it? But see, we argued about this Thursday.
Shut the fuck up, Danny.
I said Big Blue Horses. I said the same thing, and everybody was like, "Oh, dude, it's sex and a hot chick. We're guys. We got to talk about it."
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Like I straight up said, "Why do we care?" And Jake's like, "Oh, because she's all up in this stuff. She's on the field. She's on the red carpet. She's in the Dunkin' commercial. We got to talk about this."
And it sucks.
And I was like, "Okay."
Do you think I like put shows together every day? And I'm like, man, God, how can we talk about Jordan Hudson today?
No, well, I do think you say
God.
that yeah. I think you the way you pick topics is what's going to piss off Uncle Monty today.
Well,
let's ride.
Oh boy, that's an offensive foul. That's an offensive foul. Karl Anthony Towns sucks. You just got a turnover. The clock is running down. He runs down the floor, dribbling the basketball as time expires to dunk it after the buzzer.
I don't know. Was it?
I think it was. We'll find out.
They're going to review it.
Yeah, we'll see. A baddie for daddy.
Okay.
Oh, daddy.
Bro.
I don't know why. Rock and Rant, they're all lying. Like everyone in your chat was on GQ cover last week. Yeah, like what do you guys know about hot chicks?
Daddy.
Any of you know. I'm the only one with a hot wife.
So you have no frame of reference here, Donnie.
So I can't hit my driver to save my life right now. Quite literally, if your child was going to die, if I had to hit a driver, your kid's dead.
It's over.
Right? My wife shows up Friday night and hits like a 255, 260-yard bomb off the tee. That was where it ended. Do you don't want to know my golf life? So I had maybe the worst round I've had in a very long time on Friday night. Saturday, I shot a 75. Best ball off the tee, but shot a 75. Putted like it was my job. My short game was locked. On the 17th at Park City, I had a 7-iron. How far do you think that 7-iron went? I think it was 190 to the flag. No,
to 205.
How did it?
The flag was 180.
Then how does it wind up on the back of the green?
Because it's 20, 30 yards past. So like
So anyway, this thing winds up probably 40 yards past the flag. Pull out my 60-degree, boom, within 8 feet. Knock the putt down. Like, can I hit a driver? No. Mini driver? Yes. Boom. Real driver? No. Backwoods Mike Smith. Bill just lucky the Maury show is no longer on the air, or he would be hearing, Bill, you are the father.
I mean, it's facts, dude. It's absolutely facts.
I tend to agree with Big Blue Horses. I really could not. It's not possible for me to care less. If they're having sex,
incredible to me, dude. Like,
listen, but no, if they're having sex or they're in love, it's not my business. If she's on the football field and interfering and stuff, okay. When it comes to football, I care. The CBS interview, Simon & Schuster should be pissed. And allegedly they are. Because his book took a beating. Because nobody's talking about the book. They're talking about Jordan Hudson. And I think that's what she wants. Which is why she allegedly injected herself.
Stay hard.
Into the Dunkin' brand commercial. About Boston with Ben Affleck. You know, like a big part of that sucks. And I get that. We've gone off the rails. I don't think we have. We're having a mature adult discussion. Bill is packing serious heat if he's on Maury. Dude, Al Pacino should be on Maury. $5 says she took the batteries out of Bill's Life Alert device. Bro. Have you ever heard of Life Alert?
Yes.
Okay. Bro. Let's relax.
Okay.
Here we go.
So hold on a second. Just quick review
real quick.
on Ryan Smith's athletic teams.
Yes.
The Utah Hockey Club has the 4th overall pick in the 2025 draft, and we're celebrating that.
Yeah, Hawks are 3rd.
Hold on. I thought this was a playoff team, and Buddy knew how to win.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
I am amazed
so
by it.
Tired.
I'm amazed by it. And we only win championships, and we're the best, and we're going to the playoffs. And
we extended Will Hardy. Oh, my God. Cool.
This cat, I'm telling you, Ryan Smith, who owns the Utah Hockey Club, that they wanted to be the Yeti, but they forgot to check the trademark.
So now it's the Utah Mammoth.
Same team that forgot to order purple uniforms for the Jazz several years ago.
Yeah, hell of a PR team, dude. Nice job.
Who are you, Jordan Hudson, running your PR? Swore up and down, we're doing everything we can do to win. We're going to the playoffs. And now we're celebrating that you're picking 4th in the draft.
That's out of the window.
Like, it's wild to me. Honestly and truly, it's wild to me and Utah fans will celebrate this. Utah fans will celebrate it.
They will eat it up.
Even though they've given him multiple blocks downtown, more money than was supposed to. Yeah. You have to win games. You don't have to win games. You really don't. You don't have to win games. It's truly fine. All right, let's get into what you do with your dog poop before the show's over. Do you walk your dog a lot?
Yeah, every day.
Do you pick up your dog poop?
Yes, absolutely I do. And typically, I would just carry it home and throw it in my garbage can. If this took place, next to someone else's garbage can, I wouldn't think twice about just picking the poop up, tying the bag off, and putting it in the garbage can.
So we've talked about this. It's been years since we talked about this, but I think if you own a dog and you don't pick up after your dog at like the dog park or on your dog, I think you're a scumbag.
Yeah, it's totally disrespectful to everybody around.
And it's completely unhealthy.
Yeah.
Any dog that eats poop is not going to live a long life.
Yeah.
So we have now dog poop bags everywhere. Like if you if you go to the dog park, like the dog park we go to has poop bags everywhere. They want you to pick it up. Well, now there seems to be a controversy where certain people get pissed if you're walking your dog and your dog shites.
Mm-hmm.
If your dog burns a deuce, you pick it up off the ground and there just happens to be a garbage can sitting there. And you throw that poop, which is in a bag, into that garbage can, you should have to pay because it's not your garbage can. Is this really who we are now, that we're going to complain that somebody threw their dog poop into our garbage can? I think this is absolutely ridiculous.
It's terrible. It's awful. And I don't know. I don't know why this is an issue. I would think that people just generally speaking wouldn't care about like where the poop was discarded per se, as long as it was discarded in a trash can, right? Like, I mean, obviously you're not just trying to leave that on the curb or something, like you need to put it in a can. So to me, I saw the story and I was like, bro, really? We're upset about this. Like, we're making a big deal about this, even though like half the time, the guy that has like massive, pit bull or German shepherd or Rottie, doesn't pick up their dog's crap because it's bigger than their hand. Like, that's what we're complaining about now. Like, I'm just surprised that this is a thing. I would have thought that people would have been like, yeah, hey dude, appreciate you picking up your dog's poop. No problem. Throw it in the can. Can's getting dumped out anyway. Who cares? Like, not a big deal. Like, but yet here we are with people complaining about it.
Yeah, I'm amazed by it. And I think that you need to pick your fights. You need to pick your battles. Because there was a road rage incident, speaking of shat, that Jake is incredibly enamored by. So a lady was allegedly, she claims, being chased in a road rage incident. Okay, so you're running away, right? And I know when the crazies are out on the road here in Utah, I know that if somebody were chasing me, my reaction would be to stop my car and take a loose stool on their hood.
Mm-hmm.
She defecated a milkshake onto this car's hood.
Yeah.
And she says that she did it because they were road raging and chasing after her. True or false, Jake?
I don't know the motivation behind it. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to like, how do you get to a place where you say, okay, in a road rage incident, I get out of my car and I pull my pants down or my shorts down and I take a dump on the hood. And not only was it a dump, it was full diarrhea. It was full liquid crap. Look at homegirl over here. The fact that this is the mug and she's happy about this is really telling. This woman was in a road rage incident, took a dump on the other person's hood of their car that proceeded to drip down the face of the car.
Okay, we could probably do without that detail.
Well, I'm just giving you all the details. And then you got taken to jail and this was your, this was your mugshot.
I am deeply troubled by this. If we're being honest, The only credit I will give this young woman, the execution of the shat was actually really impressive.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the photo on the right, that's as close as she got to the car, or the photo on the left, that's as close as she got to the car. She projectile pooped that thing. And if you look at the picture on the right, that's her walking away from the car.
Now, here's my question out of this photo here. Here's my question. Is this supposed to be pants? Or, I mean, is this supposed to be shorts? Or is this like some other version of what's happening? Because if you watch the video, it's kind of hard to tell what the hell she's even wearing. And this is my point. So, number one, how do you as a person have a diarrhea switch that you can just turn on? So,
I mean, is that useful?
Apparently in this case it was, because, you were in a road rage incident and you just turned around, and this harkens back to the Southwest girl who took a dump on the seat that, dripped down onto the floor.
We've had a lot of pooping stories.
Why are we just crapping anywhere we want to, dude? Well, so the quote was, I wanted to punch her in the face, but yeah, that seemed a little aggressive. So I diverted back to, let's take a dump on the car. How does that...
Cops say that Salamento, and while I read the story, I am absolutely putting her mugshot back on the screen. According to TMZ.com, cops say Salamento had a clear reason for pooping on the car hood. They say she told them the car's owner called her, quote, a fat bitch, end quote. And it made her angry.
Fat!
And she explained, quote, I wanted to punch her in the face, but I pooped on her car instead. Then I went home, end quote. First of all, man, please.
Now, I
exercise your Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate yourself, even though the DNA on the hood's going to incriminate you anyway. She called me a fat bee, and that angered me, so I took a deuce on her hood.
I want to play the video. I want to play the video of this, because what's shocking to me also in this video.
Do we really want to play the video?
Here's what's shocking. So
do we want to play the video?
I want to play the video. If you don't want to, fine, whatever. But in the
perp
video,
block.
the perp block, number one, but number two, the person taking this video is like in a truck, and you're gonna see in the video they like lower the phone and they kind of hide behind like the truck a little bit. It's kind of like got this energy to it where it's like very aggressive, and that's what I think led to her kind of deciding to take a dump on the hood of the car.
Can you tell us what happened?
The lady chased me. She chased me and I asked her not to attack me.
She chased you?
I have a sickness.
You said she chased you?
Yeah, she chased me. And I got out and begged her to stop.
Come on, bro.
Again, I would never do it. The execution of the splatter was, I mean, that's an 8 out of 10. If I'm,
what would it take for you guys to resort to crapping on somebody's
dude,
property?
Nobody in their right, you would have to be mentally out of your mind.
Well, she said she had a sickness. I'm just curious, was that mental or was that bowel related? Because,
she probably ate at Chipotle.
I mean, honestly, right? Like,
bros, there's some dudes.
Why are we seeing an uptick in crazy pooper lady?
Dude. And it is that's true. There she is right there. And the lady on the Southwest flight it was a woman. Dude.
She's proud of this. You can tell.
I mean, I want to play the video again, but I don't want to play. Let's get the comments going. I don't want to play the video again. I can't. No, you don't do the mud butt water to punish road ragers. That is what your Glock or Walther is for.
Chill.
She pooped, locked, and shot it, dude. I don't know what that is, but that takes talent. That takes, because how do you push it out like that? Like, how does it not go down? And Went backward, like down, right?
How did you get nothing on your pants?
I don't know. Well, who says she didn't?
Yeah.
Who said she didn't? She's going to need a Tide stick. Mike Smith, did the driver take a picture in mid-act and post on social? I don't know, and I hope not, because I don't want to see it. Look at how satisfied with herself
That's
she
what
is.
I'm saying on the
she
perp
loves
walk,
it.
dude. She was all about it.
Yeah. Boyd Lake, she proved them right. All right. Yes, she did. Yes, she proved everybody right. Yeah, there's a video, and I didn't want to play it. Jake was so excited before the show when we were talking about, oh, dude, I got the video. Bro, I got the video.
No, well, Monty's on this one, dude. I got the full-fledged video.
Isn't that below our standard?
No, hell no.
Not at all.
Hell no.
Because if we'd have had the poop video on the airplane, we'd have
been playing that one right now. Bro.
Well, will this be on police activity? I would assume so. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. She didn't use a doggy bag.
Yeah,
nope.
like, and the other thing is, was this a clean poop? Because there was no wiping.
But that's my point, Boyd. Then she got back in her own car and sat down.
Right?
Are you telling me you did that with cloth seats? I hope she had the leather package.
Dude.
Like, that's terrible. Fat Jesus, this woman is my idol. I am now motivated. Wow. Dude, please don't. Mr. Preston, oh my God, never, ever am I pooping on or in front of. No. Dude, close the bathroom door. I'm not about that. No.
Hell no.
Not gonna lie, I would have. No, you would not have. No, Replica, you would not have. I approve of. No, you don't. I once did something to a white Mercedes SUV once, allegedly said what he said. You guys, that woman is a freak somewhere. Some man is loving
Stop.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Here's what's going to happen.
Tonto. You got to do what you got to do to get to 21 times a month. Fat Jesus, if someone broke up with me by text, pooping in the car, on the car, loud car, through a park, pooping on it, not getting a media rights deal done for the Pac-12, pooping on the car. I mean, it makes sense. I not getting a Pac-12 media rights deal done. Got to poop on Gould's car. It's just a heinous. What does it say about your character?
That you're an awful person.
Right? Like, do you road rage ever? Occasionally. I don't. I used to.
I just don't drive a whole lot. That's
I used to be a lot more
aggressive with a horn.
I am not anymore. It's just not worth it. And if you were going to poop on my car, I'm probably running you over out of fear for my life. Like that. Come on. You can't.
Hot ass.
You cannot poop on my car. She can't be of right mind.
No.
I don't care what anybody says.
Nope.
In all seriousness, this woman cannot be of sound mind.
Hell no.
There's no way. I can't even. Nope. I can't even believe that.
Nope.
40-38, Boston leads the Knicks. 7:02 to go in the first half. Obviously, we'll keep you up to date on that. Anyway, I guess that's where we leave it because I don't know how you beat road rage pooping.
Yeah,
I do not. A lot more NBA playoffs tomorrow on the show. Thanks to our friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. 24/7, 365. You can chat with an injury attorney live online and it won't cost you a dime. You get clear, risk-free advice. That's why you go to The Advocates. Give them the claims process. You get back to the best version of yourself. And the best part is you don't pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.